guys, when we started the Permit Room Film Club, our dream was to help people make their own movies and get into the industry. How does this work? Well, every month you submit the short film that you have made by paying a fixed amount. Your short film will be viewed by all the Permit Room Film Club members and it will be discussed by us in a live channel that is open for all. You will get access to the network of Permit Room Film Club. Also, at the end of the year, we will host a Permit Room Short Film Festival where the best films will be screened in public and you will get to enjoy the applause of a filmmaker. After all, isn't that why we want to make films? But what if you're not a filmmaker? We all have that friend who has made short films but is kind of stuck. By paying the amount, you can nominate your friend's short film also into the competition. Please remember, it doesn't have to be a short film that you shot that month. It could be a film that you have made earlier, but you feel it deserves a wider audience. Now, what happens if you are a quarter bottle member? You get access to all these wonderful short films that are made, and you get to network with the next breed of filmmakers. So click on this link below and send us your short films, and welcome to the beautiful world of filmmaking. Hello and welcome to another episode of Permit Room. We are really excited to introduce our guest today. He has given us and you, all of us, some of our most memorable, rewatchable movies. Has had a long, resilient career.
Over 2 decades.
Over 2 decades. He visits Permit Room to talk about his movies, his life in the movies, beyond his movies, and his latest release, Anaganaga. Welcome.
Welcome, Sumanth.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Welcome to Permit
Thanks,
Room.
guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So
cases. Sorry. Yes, sir. We have to plug in Anaganaga.
Anaganaga, correct.
Yeah, you have to. At
We
some
have to.
point.
All right.
We have to.
Cool. Our first question, Anaganaga, మీరు HPS లో చదువుకున్నారు.
అప్పట్లో
You were
deputy head boy.
Head boy.
Yeah.
Deputy head boy. And maybe.
So were you the Harry Potter kind or the Draco Malfoy kind of a student?
Ammo. Harry Potter, Draco Malfoy, villain. He's the villain, no?
Yeah,
In that? He's the nemesis of
yeah.
Harry Potter, right? Yeah, I saw a few films. Neither one.
Okay.
అంటే ఏదో ఒక టాక్ షోలో మేము విన్నది ఏంటంటే చేయి మెన్షన్ చేశారు అసలు మావి కావాలి స్టోరీస్ సుమంత్ అన్న దగ్గర ఉంటాయి ఫుల్ గ్యాంగ్
వాళ్ళు ఊరికే బ్లేమ్ డైవర్ట్ చేయడానికి అంత డైవర్ట్ చేయడానికి నా మీద తోస్తారు రానా చేయన్ ఆల్ బట్ లైక్
బట్ వి హర్డ్ యు ఆర్ ద ఓజీ మార్గదర్శి ఫర్ దెమ్
అంటే ఓజీ అంటే లైక్ ఐఎమ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ right in between, like, you know, because when I was growing up I used to look up to my uncle Nag and my first cousin Venki, and I'm exactly in between them and Rana and Che and Akhil and all. Akhil is a lot younger, but మధ్య తరగతి వాడిని. So I'm the conduit in between, I guess. So, అలా అనుకుంటే the real OGs were like Nag and Venki and all, because I used to follow them completely.
Correct.
Like he was my mama and my favorite cousin, like, you know, and that I used to really look up to them. And
When you say they were the original OGs, could you shed some light on?
Could you shed some light అంటే వాళ్ళు అప్పుడే యుఎస్ నుంచి వచ్చారు. దే వర్ లైక్ రియలీ కూల్, లైక్ యుఎస్లో చదువుకుని తిరిగి వచ్చి సినిమా ఇండస్ట్రీలో జాయిన్ అయ్యి. సో లైక్, యు నో, ఐ యూస్ టు లుక్ అప్ టు దెమ్. లైక్ ఐ వాజ్ లైక్ డివైడ్ అండ్ యూస్ టు లుక్ అప్ టు దెమ్, బోత్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్. అండ్ సో అలాగే వాళ్ళందరూ యుఎస్కి వెళ్ళి చదివి తిరిగి వచ్చారు కాబట్టి నేను కూడా ఇట్స్ జస్ట్, యునో, చిన్నప్పుడు మనకు నచ్చిన మేనమామ, మనకి నచ్చిన కజిన్స్ని ఫాలో అవుతూ ఉంటాం కదా.
They are like heroes at that
Yeah. So I pretty much did the same thing. Like, I used to look up to them like the way, I guess, when Rana and Che and all were young, they used to look up to me, I guess.
Correct.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So you study at HPS.
Yeah.
And then you go to do engineering in the US.
Yeah.
But you drop out of engineering.
First person to drop out from the family.
Yeah. And you join a film school.
Yeah.
Correct. So I have 2 questions. So we know about engineering in India.
Yeah.
Right? There are movies and books written and all of that. But what was engineering like in the US for you?
అంటే లక్కీగా నేను ఫస్ట్ 2 years ఆర్ యుఎస్లో ఏంటంటే the first 2 years of most curriculums, they're more or less similar.
Okay.
So we used to take, along with our calculus classes, we used to take a lot of art classes, humanities and social sciences. అంటే నేను అండర్ గ్రాడ్కి యూఎస్కి వెళ్ళాను అప్పుడు చాలా రేర్.
Okay.
అంటే అప్పుడు కూడా ఇప్పుడు మా నాగమామ వెళ్ళిన యూనివర్సిటీకే అప్పుడు నేను వెళ్ళాను. లైక్ దట్స్ ద లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ లైక్ కాపింగ్ దట్ ఐ యూస్ టు డూ అట్ దట్ పాయింట్. సో ఒక 2 సంవత్సరాలు ఇంజనీరింగ్ చదివాక ఎందుకు ఈ డిగ్రీతో లైక్ విల్ ఐ బీ బిల్డింగ్ బ్రిడ్జెస్ ఆర్ వాట్, లైక్ ఐ వోంట్ ఈవెన్ బీ యూటిలైజింగ్ ఇట్. అక్కడ లైక్ my eyes were open to the film school.
Okay.
So I decided to get my undergrad in film school at that point.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we ask most of our guests this question. We call it the Indian uncle question. Right? It's a question most Indian uncles like to ask.
Yeah.
And it is not a judgmental question, but how was your 10th standard like result?
You have to guess or
Were you
I was just
like a
about
great
okay.
student or like
Just about 10th standard, I just above average.
Correct.
I don't remember the exact pass percentage,
correct.
but I think just about average, above average, ante.
Correct. Coasted through.
Coasted through.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. And then you joined film school.
Yeah.
And it's a fantasy of mine. Don't you think so? Like to
join
just
a film
be,
school.
yeah, like it's almost like Hogwarts, where you're trained to create magic, sort of a thing. But of course, I have not gone to a film school.
And you went to film school to do acting or film studies?
No, I didn't go to do acting. I film studies. Film studies lo like literally you take like classes in everything. Koni theory classes or like koni direction classes or koni lighting classes, editing classes, or sound classes. So you kind of touch base on about everything. Screenwriting iyanni. So it was a general oka avagahan ratanki.
Okay.
Like so it was quite general, but I really liked it, and I encourage most people. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఆ టైంలో ఇట్ వాస్ వెరీ రేర్ ఫిల్మ్ స్కూల్ కాన్సెప్ట్ అనేది. ఇండియాలో అయితే లైక్ అపార్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ పూణే ఫిల్మ్ స్కూల్ ఆర్ లైక్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ దట్ దే వర్ నో ఆపర్చునిటీస్. యూఎస్లో కూడా అప్పుడు దేర్ అబౌట్ 5-6 యూనివర్సిటీస్ దట్ వర్ పాపులర్.
Okay.
ఇప్పుడు లైక్ ఇట్స్ మోర్ ఇట్స్ మోర్ కామన్
Yeah.
ఫర్ పీపుల్ టు the Indian mentality. You either become a engineering or medicine or and that's the drive of the Indian parents. Now it's changing. The mindset is changing. So if you want to study, you can go to film school. We run a film school now.
Yeah.
Studios.
Yeah.
So maybe that was one of the reason I think that appudu adi opportunity ledu. Andike adi maybe that's one of the reasons why Tata, my grandfather, said let's start something. Let's start like something where people can be formally trained. Instead of going to BCom or something like that. అందరూ మీరు చూడండి, అందరూ BCom చదివి BA చదివి ఇంజనీరింగ్ చదివి చివరికి ఫిల్మ్ స్కూల్ చివరికి సినిమాలో వచ్చిన వాళ్ళందరూ ఆ టైంలో. సో ఇప్పుడు అది కొంచెం మారింది.
Allow me to point out, we both are BCom students.
Yeah.
I would have probably, like, if I stayed back in India, I would have probably, like, stayed back and done BCom or something.
BCom is a compassionate course.
Yeah.
It's Bachelor of Compassion. It's an easy course, dude.
Yeah, it's
like, I worked all through my
ఏదో
BCom years.
బట్ ఫైనాన్సెస్ గురించి కాస్త కోస్త తెలుస్తాయి కదా.
అవును.
నాకు ఫైనాన్సెస్ గురించి అస్సలు నాలెడ్జే లేదు. లైక్ ఐ జస్ట్
అది మళ్ళీ ఇంజనీరింగ్
I'm
వల్ల
not-
కూడా
just-
ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ లాస్ట్ ఫైనల్ ఇయర్ లో చెప్తారు అనుకుంటా అబౌట్ లైక్ మేనేజింగ్ యువర్ ఫైనాన్సెస్. లేకపోతే అసలు చెప్పరు. ఐ మీన్ ఫర్ ద ఇంజనీరింగ్. బట్ మీకు ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉండేనా టు టు డైరెక్ట్ ఆర్ టు రైట్ అండ్ మేక్ అ ఫిలిం?
నో ఐ సి ఎక్కడ మెంటల్గా లైక్ చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి లైక్ ఐ వాజ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంట్రోవర్టెడ్ గాయ్. బట్ చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి బికాజ్ ఐ గ్రూ అప్ విత్ మై గ్రాండ్ ఫాదర్ అండ్ లుక్డ్ అప్ టు నాగ్, వెంకీ, ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్, ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఒక సినిమాల పట్ల ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉండేది, ఒక యాక్టర్ అవ్వాలని. కానీ ఎవరితో చెప్పేవాడిని కాదు అండ్ కొంచెం సైలెంట్గా ఉండేవాడిని. బట్ మా ఇంట్లో ఫ్యామిలీ సరే నువ్వు చదువు పూర్తయ్యాక యూ కెన్ డూ వాట్ యూ వాంట్ అని చెప్పారు. సో బట్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ముఖ్యం, కాస్త కూస్తో లైక్ ఫినిష్ యువర్ అండర్ గ్రాడ్ అని. దట్ వాస్ ది ఓన్లీ రిక్వైర్మెంట్.
No, అంటే నేనేమంటే యాక్టింగ్ వాజ్ ఓకే ఫైన్, దట్ వాస్ గుడ్.
Yeah.
బట్ ఐఎమ్ సేయింగ్ టు డైరెక్ట్ ఆర్ టు రైట్
No.
బికాస్
ఐ విష్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇఫ్ ఐ హ్యాడ్ టు డూ ఇట్ ఆల్ ఓవర్ అగైన్ ఐ వుడ్ ప్రాబ్లీ టేకెన్ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ అండ్ మేబీ లైక్ స్క్రీన్ రైటింగ్ ఆర్ డైరెక్షన్ ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ జనరల్ ఫిల్మ్స్ కోర్స్.
ఐ థింక్ ఎందుకంటే మనం ఇంటర్నెట్ నుంచి ఒకటి క్లియర్ చేయాలనుకుంటా. ఆన్ ద వికీపీడియా పేజ్, ఆన్ యువర్ వికీపీడియా పేజ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ మెన్షన్ దట్ you have directed one movie.
డైరెక్ట్ చేశాను.
అవునా?
ఫిల్మ్ స్కూల్కి వెళ్తే డైరెక్ట్ చేయాలి కదా. అంటే ఏ కోర్స్ తీసుకున్నా కూడా యూ హ్యావ్ టు లైక్ యూ ద బేసిక్ we used to have a class called Film Techniques 1 and Film Techniques 2. Our final project was doing a short film.
Okay.
So and then you get graded on that, on your short film. My first short film was a silent film.
Okay.
Which the second short film, like, you know, that you have to make is with sound.
Okay.
So we took classes in different things, like, you know, so
But
cover
a
everything.
feature
But
film?
a feature film?
You have
Feature
not
film?
directed?
Feature film direct చేయలేదు.
All right.
మీకు తెలియకుండా
ఎక్కడ ఉంది వికీపీడియాలో?
please
Feature film direct చేశారా?
I present to you as a director సాహస బాలుడు విచిత్ర కోతి.
Vichitra Koti.
చిత్రకోతి భలే ఉంది.
The name doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, which is why we dug deeper. Your credit on IMDb also as the director of that movie.
So
అప్పుడప్పుడు they're little
someone
sometimes
who is like editing IMDb page of Mr. Sumanth garu.
I have no idea.
I think you should remove
I
this.
have no idea who's editing all these pages because they're all public domain, public property now. But someone told me my Wikipedia page is kind of more or less accurate. It is.
Accurate. This is the only. I think ఇది ఒకటి తీసేస్తే then it will be
ఎక్కడ
perfect.
ఉంది అది డైరెక్షన్?
So, as director కింద it has no reference point, but then when you search on IMDb, your profile was linked to it.
I'll have that.
Removed.
well ఎవరైనా చూసారా సాహస బాలుడు విచిత్ర
We
కోతి?
went through it.
నేను చిన్నప్పుడు చూసాను, నాకు గుర్తుంది అందుకని.
What, the movie?
యా నేను చూసినప్పుడు.
సరే చూద్దాం, బాగుంటే నా పేరు దానికి పెట్టుకుందాం, లేకపోతే తీసేద్దాం.
No. పెట్టుకోకండి వద్దు.
No, I'll just show you some clips.
It was a సాహసం.
You might.
It's not me. It's
Yeah.
definitely not me.
That's why it was shocking for us also.
IMDb. Okay. IMDb.
Yeah. Cool. But your film school years, did you enjoy it? Because you grew up around cinema. And did it feel like home? Like that's what I imagine film schools to be. Like just.
My university setup, it wasn't like a full-fledged university in the sense. It was more like about 5 or 6 corporate building types of.
Okay.
You know, we didn't have those common ground, like, you know, other extracurricular sporting activities and all that. It wasn't. It was a very art-oriented university.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a పెద్ద university where there were a lot of extracurricular activities and you had a sports. US lo, like some of the big university, my first university that I went to, you know, they had a football team and, like, you know, all that. So all those other things that I was really interested.
Okay.
College life in the US is very fun that way. You get into college sports and especially undergrad lo.
Okay.
సో అది ఫిల్మ్ స్కూల్లో ఉండేది కాదు, బట్ ఐ ఎంజాయ్డ్ ఇట్. ఐ ఎంజాయ్డ్ ద ప్రాసెస్. ఐ థింక్ దట్ ఆ 2.5-3 సంవత్సరాలు దట్ ఐ వాజ్ ఇన్ ఫిల్మ్ స్కూల్, 3 సంవత్సరాలు, దట్ వాజ్ ద ఓన్లీ టైమ్ ఇన్ మై లైఫ్ ఐ వాజ్ అకాడమిక్లీ రియలీ గుడ్. అంటే లైక్ రియలీ గుడ్ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ టు ద పాయింట్ వేర్ లైక్ దట్ ఫైనల్ ఇయర్ ఐ వాజ్ ఆన్ స్కాలర్షిప్. సో
అంటే మేబీ బికాస్ మీ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ అక్కడ ఉన్నది కాబట్టి.
ప్రాబబ్లీ యా.
No, but the interesting part ఏంటంటే మీకన్నా ముందు I think your sister debuted into film.
Yeah, she did.
Into film. So technically she is the first from the third generation.
Actually she is. She is from the third the first film with Pawan Kalyan. Yeah.
So when you were making the
Right.
debut, and before you మీకన్నా ముందు your sister made, no?
Yeah.
And you are the person who has grown up with Akkineni Nageswara Rao
Yeah,
from
yeah.
childhood.
Yeah.
And you've seen his movies and
Right.
he has more experience. So when you were making your debut, what was his inputs to you as the first?
ఆయన ఎక్కువ చెప్పేవారు కాదు. లైక్, యు నో, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద మెయిన్ డిసిషన్స్ అట్ దట్ పాయింట్ వర్ ప్రిటీ మచ్ టేకెన్ బై మై అంకుల్ నాగ్ అండ్ రామ్ గోపాల్ వర్మ, బికాస్ దే వర్ ద టూ ఇన్వాల్వ్డ్ ఇన్ ద ఫిల్మ్. తాతగారు వాజ్ మోర్ లైక్, యు నో, అలా హీ ఆల్వేస్ హ్యాడ్ దట్ సెన్స్ కొంచెం దట్ దిస్ ఇస్ ద న్యూ జనరేషన్, వీళ్ళకి కొత్త థాట్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఇప్పుడు నేను మరీ చెప్పకూడదు. లైక్ హీ ఆల్వేస్ లెట్ అస్ ఆల్ ఫైండ్ అవర్ ఓన్ ఫీట్. ఎప్పుడు చెప్పేవారు కాదు, అంటే ఇలా ఉండాలి, అలా ఉండాలి, అలా ఉండాలి, ఇలాంటివి చేయాలి, ఇలాంటివి చేయాలి, ఇప్పుడు చెప్పేవారు కాదు. యా. సో ద ఫస్ట్ ఫ్యూ ఇయర్స్ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద crucial decisions, they were all like, you know, either made by my family, my uncle Nag, or my father, you know, the seniors in our family. Yeah, because my father also is a film producer.
Yeah. అరే ఇంకెన్ని రోజులు డబ్బులు లేకుండా ఈ లైఫ్ గడపాలి, డాడీని అడగాలి పైసలు, మమ్మీని అడగాలి పైసలు, బ్రదర్ని అడగాలి పైసలు. ఆపేద్దాం. మీ ఫైనాన్షియల్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ కోసం మేము పర్మిట్ రూమ్ నుంచి ఒక సొల్యూషన్ తీసుకొచ్చాం. మా పార్ట్నర్షిప్ విత్ అప్ స్టాక్స్. దిస్ ఆర్ ఫస్ట్ కొలాబరేషన్. మీరు అప్ స్టాక్ లో జాయిన్ అయ్యి డిమాట్ అకౌంట్ ఓపెన్ చేయొచ్చు. అరే నాకు స్టాక్ మార్కెట్ గురించి ఏం తెలియదు అని మీరు అనుకుంటే ఇందులో అప్ లోన్ అనే ఒక ఆప్షన్ ఉంది. అందులో మీరు కోర్సెస్ జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు, నేర్చుకోవచ్చు అండ్ హ్యాపీగా ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ కూడా చేసుకోవచ్చు. మీరు డిమాట్ అకౌంట్ ఓపెన్ చేయాలనుకుంటే కింద ఉన్న డిస్క్రిప్షన్ లో లింక్ ని క్లిక్ చేయండి, ఓపెన్ చేసుకోండి, ఫైనాన్షియల్ గా ఇండిపెండెంట్ అయిపోండి.
But were you always groomed to become an actor, or
I wasn't groomed enough.
as in, like, was it kind of accepted that okay, he's going to grow up and become an actor, or
It was accepted,
yeah,
but I wish, like, there was more grooming,
training?
more training. And if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably train more. I did training,
Yeah,
like యాక్టింగ్ క్లాసులు తీసుకున్నాను, డాన్సింగ్ క్లాసులు తీసుకున్నాను, బట్ ఇవన్నీ ఇంకా ఎక్కువ చేయాల్సింది నా దృష్టిలో అయితే. లైక్ if I had to do it again, I would like to be more groomed,
correct.
more trained.
Who did you break the news to first that okay, I want to act?
అది అందరికీ అది ఆల్మోస్ట్ తెలుసు. తాతగారికి తెలుసు, చిన్నమామ నాగమామకి తెలుసు, మై ఫ్యామిలీ అందరికీ తెలుసు.
Okay,
సో ఇట్ వాస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ an open thing.
all right. And your debut, of course, is with Ram Gopal Verma, and this is Ram Gopal Verma in his wild days, right? Like when he was
Wild-eyed,
young
like
and
peak.
trailblazing.
Yeah, it was at his
Immediately after Satya.
It was not at his Telugu peak, but it was almost at his Hindi peak.
Hindi
time.
peak, yeah.
But ఏంటంటే like his, it was Hindi peak exactly during Satya time.
Okay,
Yeah, but he was more into Hindi films at that point.
okay,
తెలుగు ఇంచుమించు వదిలిపెట్టేశారు ఆ టైంలో.
okay.
సో
Yeah. And you act opposite Manoj Bajpayee,
yeah,
who has just come back from Bhikkhu Matre and he
Yeah,
has
yeah,
set
yeah.
the nation on fire, sort of.
yeah.
And how did that feel? Because he's like a trained, whatever, intense actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
వాళ్ళందరూ trained drama actors and all that. It was just nice hanging out. Like, it was a very nice time because along with Ramu, there was Manoj Bajpayee on one side, there was Anurag Kashyap on one side.
Oh, Kashyap was there on the making of this film?
Yeah, I used to hang out there a lot. Like, so because Satya was going on, so I got to hang out with that whole crew. Like, it was a very ante I think Anurag also helped Ramu, like, with the little
With the script of frame kada.
yeah, I mean, he was part of the discussions, like with he was just there, like so we all kind of go, and Sandeep Chauta did the music for both Prema Kada and for Satya, so there were like a lot of common factors. Yeah.
So that was the debut. Do you remember your first shot? Like, you remember going on set?
Yeah, I remember my first shot. It was a song sequence
Okay.
in 99, and I had to jump into the frame and then like talk to that little boy over there, ante who was the little boy in the film. I don't remember his name, but yeah, that was my first shot in the song.
Okay.
Yeah, I was quite nervous.
And they just threw you into a song, like directly into the deep well, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at that time, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea of training to become an actor involved doing a lot of these things, like learning fights and dance and horse riding and all of that. Did you have to go through?
Ante like if the film required horse riding, then like I probably would have had to learn horse riding. But that's kind of a cliche that we have to learn all these things.
Yeah, in movies they show the training montage of the actor. There is always a shot of him like on a horse.
Yeah, that's a little cliched. Like that's a trope. So, see, if you're doing a film like where you have to do that, then you have to train. But you don't train to be a horse rider. But I didn't do all of that.
Okay.
But yeah, but I had a little bit of training in dance, like rehearsals and stuff like that, which is kind of a common thing. But I just wish I was like a little more prepared, a little more groomed in certain aspects.
Correct. Yeah. And also, it must have been some sort of pressure because the people who debuted around the same years
Yeah.
are all like now the top stars, like the legends of the industry in a way, right? Because if you look at those 3-4 years, you have Pawan Kalyan, you have Mahesh Babu, you have Junior NTR,
around
all
same time.
debuting around the same 3-4 years.
Yeah, Tarak was like I think 2 years after.
2 years
later.
after, yeah.
Mahesh was 1 year before.
Correct.
And Pawan Kalyan Garu was I think 2 years before.
Okay.
Yeah, so about like about a 5 year in about a 5 year space.
Yeah, the whole new generation comes from there in a way of
Yeah.
new stars.
Not the whole, yeah, a good part of the whole new
The next generation.
the next generation. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just curious, like now you have social media and whatever podcasts and stuff like that, right? At that time, and I'm sure it must be tiring for you to go to places and give interviews over and over again. Or I don't know, maybe you enjoy it. But what was the film promotional circuit sort of a thing back then? How did you promote a movie?
It was very not very similar. We had like an audio function that was
Correct.
like an audio release function.
Yeah.
Like where all the songs and all were released. That was the big
Promotional event.
promotional like event before the release of a film.
Oh, no.
Now you call it the pre-release event. అప్పుడు ఆడియో లాంచ్ ఈవెంట్ అని చెప్పేవారు. అప్పుడు కూడా ఆడియో లాంచ్ ఈవెంట్ లో అప్పుడే వచ్చినాయి అప్పుడు కూడా.
అవును, అప్పుడే స్టార్ట్ అయింది.
Yeah, because in my grandfather's time, like that audio launch events weren't there. So I think it was kind of around the late 90s and all that audio launch events started. And we had the regular interviews and all that stuff. Not, the Gemini TV, like, all those interviews. They're kind of similar, like.
But it would be aired on TV.
It would be aired on TV.
Correct.
Yeah.
In one of them, I think, Appudo, somewhere you had mentioned that Ram Gopal Verma was very much inspired by Titanic.
Yeah, it was because Titanic came out in 98, I think, and it was such a sensation. And I think...
And he was hell-bent on, like, killing you guys in Prema Gatha.
And help... he wanted to make it a tragedy, basically. And I think that thought of the tragedy probably somewhere subconsciously stemmed from Titanic. I'm pretty sure about that. But అక్కడ ఏంటంటే అక్కడ టైటానిక్లో లైక్ the deaths were kind of very justified and purposeful. మా సినిమాలో they were little incidental. So there was a little division about that. Most people didn't like it.
And
They liked the film perfectly fine till then. మేమిద్దరు చనిపోయాక lot of people were disappointed.
అప్పట్లో ఒక ఇది ఉండేది, డైరెక్ట్ టాక్ ఎట్లా, హౌ టు పుట్ ద మూవీ డౌన్ అంటే, అరే లాస్ట్ లో హీరో హీరోయిన్ చచ్చిపోతారు అంటారా.
like a spoiler.
It is like a spoiler, and it's like it puts the motivation of the watching the whole movie also down. Like that was the time where it was not cool until I think till 7 by G Brindavan Colony or someone came. So a starting లో హీరో చచ్చిపోతే దెన్ అరే నో, couldn't, he can't.
And over the years, your filmography went on to become like this series of films that are, for lack of a better word, like sensitive, soft, right? Like I'll give you one example. We were noticing while we were going through your work that most of the professions that you played in your films
Right.
were all educated guys. There will be like a lyrics writer, an aspiring politician. And cricket coach.
Cricket coach, yeah.
And so it was all like, most of our heroes at that time at least were like, they don't show his job. He's like, he's
Gauri
just
was
there.
playing a bike mechanic,
That's-
bike
dignity
mechanic.
of labor, man. That's also...
If you played this, you would
I probably didn't even have any education. I was just a village boy.
పాలేరు.
But ఆ రెండు సినిమాలు తప్ప, like I guess
After
like
that, slowly. దాని తర్వాత, like I don't remember in Telugu cinema anyone mentioning I want to be a aspiring politician.
yeah.
అంటే not in that way. ఇప్పుడు
In that way,
అంటే ఇప్పుడు గోదావరిలో like he wanted to be this,
wanted to be.
he was just US returned idealistic politician, like that he wanted to join politics in a very naive idealistic way.
Yeah. And when people talk about Godavari, right, it is one of those movies that's probably the most rewatchable movie. It comes on TV, you keep watching it anywhere. And with that movie, I was watching it again actually, like 2 days back, and I noticed something. Today, you can't make that kind of a movie anymore. It just has like a small moments, dude. Like, getting down from a rickshaw, going there, talking to somebody. It just feels like a lived-in world. And unfortunately, now our movies are all like, okay, where's the moment? And, I don't know, I feel...
They've
do you
become
feel
like
that is
OTT
true?
films now. Atlantic films have become...
Yeah.
I think Godavari will still fly today also. I think I think it's one of those films that it's kind of aged like very well, and it's still
It's
very.
become a
It can
cult
be
now.
alage chesina kuda it will still be very relevant and it will still work today. I personally feel. Some of the other films probably a little more dated,
Okay.
but that film has aged well.
Yeah.
But like, on Reddit and Twitter, Ram is the most green flag guy any girl wants.
Correct.
Raman Godavari.
Yeah, Ram and Goda, Sitaram.
Somebody commented is more green flag than the flag of Bangladesh.
Okay.
Complete green flag. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so gradually, and there are many of your films that have aged well. They kind of live up. Was that a conscious choice that you made that I want to do these kind of movies, or did it just happen that your career turned out?
And it was basically like, it was not a conscious decision. It was more, ఇప్పుడు నా ప్లేట్లో ఏమేమి ఆఫర్లు ఉన్నాయి, లైక్ which ones I liked, and see, for example, if I had gotten like very commercial masala films that I liked, like I probably would have done those also.
Correct.
బట్ నాకు గౌరీ చేశాను, బట్ గౌరీ తర్వాత లైక్ అంత, ఈవెన్ దో దట్ మూవీ వాజ్ వెరీ సక్సెస్ఫుల్ ఇన్ దట్ మీటర్, దట్ కమర్షియల్ మీటర్, ఐ డిడ్ నాట్ గెట్ ఆఫర్డ్ యాజ్ గుడ్ ఆఫ్ స్క్రిప్ట్స్ ఇన్ ద మసాలా కమర్షియల్ మీటర్.
Okay.
Even though I actually wanted to balance both and go.
Correct.
Like, be in that commercial meter and then be in the slightly offbeat content oriented films.
Yeah.
బట్ నాకు వచ్చిన ఆఫర్లో లైక్ ఆ కమర్షియల్ మాస్ మీటర్లో నాకు కొన్నే వచ్చినాయి,
Okay.
విచ్ ఐ లైక్డ్.
Okay.
చాలా మెనీ కేమ్ బట్ మెనీ గుడ్ వన్స్ డెంట్ కమ్.
Okay.
సో ఐ జస్ట్ పిక్డ్ అవుట్, అలాగే జరిగిపోయింది. లైక్ వాట్ ఐ పిక్డ్ అవుట్ వాట్ వాస్ బెస్ట్ ఆన్ మై
Okay.
అండ్ వాట్ ఎక్సైటెడ్ మీ ద మోస్ట్.
Okay.
ఐ వాజ్ నెవర్ జాన్రా స్పెసిఫిక్, ఇలా చేయాలి అలా చేయాలి అలా చేయాలి అలా. నాకు అన్నీ చేయాలని అనిపించింది, కానీ అన్నీ రావటం అదృష్టం, చాలా అదృష్టం, అది రావు కదా
Yeah.
అప్పుడప్పుడు. యా.
Because what happens is then over the next decade or so, all the intellectual directors sort of gravitate towards you, because then you have movies with Shekhar Kamala coming, Mohan Krishna Indraganti coming, and stuff like that. And I think you said in an interview that you like scripts to be given to you, that you were a script guy, that you like reading the script.
Yeah, definitely. I have to read it for sure. Like, the full script. I'm not that, okay, నాకు అరగంటలో నాకు కథ చెప్పండి, ఆర్ లైక్ పాయింట్ చెప్పండి, పాయింట్ చెప్పండి, కానీ నాకు దాని తర్వాత నాకు మొత్తం స్క్రిప్ట్ నాకు చేతికి ఇవ్వాలి. నాకు
Correct.
మనం మొత్తం, ఓన్లీ ఇఫ్ ఐ రీడ్ లైక్ ది ఎంటైర్ 120+ pages, like, if I'm happy, I'll do it. So I was always a script kind of guy. Yeah.
But our time lo, it was not so much of a thing. I'm told that people would not really have bound scripts and complete scripts like that. Is that?
Even now it's Shekhar gave me a complete script. Like, we had a complete bound script for Godavari. But it was definitely a rarity. Like, giving scripts chadavandi idi mottam idi ante, it was more narration based at that point.
Yeah.
Director వచ్చి రైటర్ తో సహా లైక్ కథలు narrate చేసేవారు, and then there was a slight element of a leap of faith that the artist had to make too.
Okay.
But most of the films that did well for me, they were all like really bound scripts.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was a rarity, which actually is a rarity even now also.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But I want to talk about something else about your career, is that you have come across as somebody who kind of stays in his own space, sort of a thing. Like, are you that person in real life? Are you like an introvert, or?
Yeah, I'm an introvert. I'm pretty much an introvert, like pretty contained in my own cocoon.
Okay.
Like, it's not that I'm like antisocial or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I can double up whenever I need to, like, ఇప్పుడు మా సినిమాలు ప్రమోట్ చేయటం కానీ, షూటింగ్ అప్పుడు కానీ, like I'm not like averse to crowds. I'm very comfortable in a shooting spot.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with people. I'm not like this standoffish kind of guy, like, but given a choice, I'm more kind of like, more into myself and introverted for sure.
Okay.
ఆల్సో ఒక స్మాల్, కరెక్ట్ మీ ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ రాంగ్, కానీ ఒక స్మాల్ పర్సెప్షన్ దట్ ఎప్పుడైనా సుమంత్ గారి గురించి ఆలోచిస్తే It's like he is this chill guy.
Yeah.
He's like he's doing this nice, memorable movies or rewatchable movies, sometimes experimental movies, like this solo act and all. And you're in your own space, you're a happy space. So I just want to understand, like, from your me perception, low, what is recognition or stardom? How do you see that?
I never delved into like defining all that. నేను ఒకటే నాకేంటంటే నాకు ఇప్పుడు నాకు ఇదే తెలుసు చేయటం, నాకు ఇంకా ఏం తెలీదు. యాక్టింగ్ కాస్త కోస్తా నాకు తెలుసు. ఐఎమ్ రీజనబ్లీ గుడ్ అట్ ఇట్. ఐ డోంట్ నో ఎనీథింగ్ ఎల్స్.
Okay.
సో లైక్ అండ్ ఐమ్ వెరీ ప్యాషనెట్ అబౌట్ మూవీస్. సో దిస్ వాజ్ మై ఓన్లీ థింగ్, అంతే. I didn't have two ways about it.
Okay.
But sorry, what was the
How do you perceive recognition or stardom?
I don't know. I saw it's very different for different people. Until like నేను చిన్నప్పుడు మా తాతగారితో పెరిగినప్పుడు like the stardom for him was very very different. He was a very people oriented person. రోజు మేము స్కూల్కి వెళ్ళే ముందు like ఒక 20 బస్సులు వచ్చాయి తాతగారిని చూడటానికి. Like literally, like the buses used to come like tourists. It was a different time.
Yeah.
I had to filter through all his fans to go to outside my house to like get to my school bus. And every morning there were at least like hundreds and hundreds of people. Tata used to go greet them. So like that was the stardom that I grew up with, like watching him when I was a kid. So I thought, wow, okay, this is like. But then also I was never like comfortable with too many people.
Okay.
And he was very social. అందరితో చాలా చక్కగా మాట్లాడేవారు. Like used to meet and greet them. Then things ఇప్పుడు విత్ చిన్మామాస్ జనరేషన్ అండ్ ఆల్ స్లోలీ అది కొంచెం మారిపోయింది. ఇప్పుడు కొంచెం మారిపోయింది. నౌ ఇట్స్ లైక్ మోర్ సోషల్ మీడియా అండ్ లైక్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఇంటరాక్షన్స్ ఆర్ ఆల్ వెరీ డిఫరెంట్ విత్ ద టైమ్స్. బట్ ఐ డోంట్ నో, ఐ నెవర్ రియలీ థాట్ అబౌట్ ఓహో ఇలా స్టార్డమ్ ఇలా ఉండాలి, ఇలా అయితే సంతోషం. నాకు అలా ఏమీ పట్టించుకోను. నాకు షూటింగ్కి వెళ్ళాలి, నాకు నచ్చిన స్క్రిప్ట్ నచ్చిన టీంతో పనిచేయాలి. దట్ గివ్స్ మీ హ్యాపీనెస్. ఏం మిగతా స్టార్డమ్ ఇదంతా దాట్ ఈస్ ఇన్సిడెంటల్ ఫర్ మీ, అంతే. ఎక్కువ ఆలోచించాను నేను దాని గురించి.
Because your Instagram is the most impersonal Instagram. Like it reveals nothing about your life. Like it's like a CV. ఈ సినిమా వస్తుంది, దాని తర్వాత ఈ సినిమా వస్తుంది. It's like that. It is like a very private. Yeah, which is cool. I'm saying it's amazing.
Yeah, అంటే I use social media only for promoting my films. Or if a director wants to see like how I look like at present, like so he can just it's purely like I just use it for professional purposes.
Okay.
For me it works that way.
Correct.
For my kind of personality.
Yeah.
So how is your equation with the technology or social media? Do you spend a lot of time?
No, I don't. I usually like post and like kind of get out of there. Like I don't have any like real critical opinions about it and all that, but like I like just use it moderately. I'm kind of balanced about social media, ante. I know it's a very important tool for a lot of people, for many people to make money, for many people to put themselves out there. It's very useful also, but again it's got like everything, it's got its negative sides also.
Yeah.
Negativity, like everyone's sensitive about too many things. Like people who are not supposed to comment, who are not adept at commenting about certain things shouldn't comment about certain things. So I have my views about it. So అందుకే నేను ఏంటి మా సినిమా ప్రమోట్ చేయడానికి వరకు నేను వాడతాను, అంతే. అదర్వైజ్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ మచ్ ఆన్ సోషల్.
No, because like you're an avid content consumer. You watch a lot of movies and documentaries. So is there any like digital space లో ఏమైనా కన్స్యూమ్ చేసుకున్న కాంటెంట్ ఉందా? Like
అన్నీ
థియేటర్స్ ఆర్
నేను థియేటర్కి వెళ్తాను. ఇంట్లో మా హోమ్ థియేటర్లో చాలా కంటెంట్ కన్స్యూమ్ చేస్తాను. లైక్ ఐఎమ్ కాన్స్టెంట్లీ వాచింగ్ సంథింగ్ ఆర్ ది అదర్. సో ఐ వోంట్ సే ఓకే ఇదే ఓటీటీ లేకపోతే డిజిటల్. లైక్ there's a space for everything right now is what I feel. There's a genuine space for everything, different mediums.
that's
Yeah.
And have you said that I only know how to act, whatever, work in movies.
Yeah.
But have you ever thought about, if not, that you could have been something else? Have you ever what you could have been?
I never really thought about that, but it would have been something in movies only.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have worked in our studio.
Okay.
Or like I have no idea. Probably like it would be in the film line only for sure, but
Or sports journalism, perhaps. Do you think
yeah, I actually like that field a lot.
sports journalism?
Sports journalism ante like yeah, like you know how people sometimes like I like sports journalism more than the actual sport.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
Like you come across a great writer or a podcast describing something. Yeah.
నేను యుఎస్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు ఐ వాజ్ వెరీ యావిడ్లీ లైక్ యూనో ఫాలోవర్ ఆఫ్ యుఎస్ స్పోర్ట్స్ బాస్కెట్బాల్ కానివ్వండి ఫుట్బాల్ కానివ్వండి అండ్ ఇండియాకి తిరిగి వచ్చినప్పుడు ఐ డిస్కవర్డ్ పాడ్కాస్ట్ లైక్ బేసిక్లీ ఫార్ అమెరికన్ స్పోర్ట్స్.
Okay.
సో మై పాడ్కాస్ట్ లిస్నింగ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ స్టెమ్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఇప్పుడు అమెరికన్ స్పోర్ట్స్లో ఏం జరుగుతుంది వాటి నుంచి అండ్ దెన్ ఇట్ బ్రాంచ్డ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్ టు లైక్ మూవీస్ అండ్ పాప్ కల్చర్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. బట్ స్పోర్ట్స్ నుంచి స్టార్ట్ అయింది, స్పోర్ట్స్ జర్నలిజం నుంచి బేసిక్గా నా పాడ్కాస్ట్ లిస్నింగ్.
No, I think that would be a great alternate career for you. I'll tell you why. Because you got the voice for it also. To have a good podcast, you need a
Good.
well-spoken, smooth voice sort of a thing, which I think you have. Do you get that a lot? Do you get complimented for like how you speak? It's
Voice
very
acting?
polished,
Yeah.
smooth on the ears. I don't know if that's a
I
phrase.
do get
తెలుగు కూడా చాలా స్పష్టంగా.
అప్పుడప్పుడు మరీ టూ స్పష్టంగా మాట్లాడతాను. ఐ ట్రై టు మడల్ ఇట్ అప్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ అంటే డిపెండింగ్ ఆన్ ద క్యారెక్టర్.
అంటే డిపెండింగ్ ఆన్ ద క్యారెక్టర్.
Okay.
దట్ ఇస్
కొన్ని కొంచెం క్యారెక్టర్ ప్రకారం కొంచెం అప్పుడప్పుడు కొంచెం నాటు క్యారెక్టర్ ఏదో చేయాలంటే కొంచెం ఆ స్పష్టత తగ్గించడానికి ట్రై చేస్తాను అప్పుడు.
Correct. Yeah. And did that clarity, that thing come obviously because you lived with your grandfather, who was also known to have like crystal clear diction and
యా హీ వాజ్ వెరీ పర్టిక్యులర్. అంటే ఇంట్లో ఇప్పుడు తెలుగే మాట్లాడాలి, లైక్
okay.
అమ్మని మమ్మీ అని పిలవకూడదు, నాన్నని పిలవకూడదు, నాన్నని పిలవాలి, డాడీ కాదు, లైక్ ఇంట్లో తెలుగే మాట్లాడాలి. మీ స్కూల్లో ఏం కావాలంటే మాట్లాడుకోండి, మన ఇంట్లో మాత్రం తెలుగు మాట్లాడాలి.
Okay.
సో ఈజ్ వెరీ పర్టిక్యులర్ అబౌట్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దాట్.
Okay.
So it's definitely stemmed from there. If I had not grown up with my grandfather, probably my Telugu wouldn't be like this.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you this question. Feel free not to answer if you want to. But like, who do you think is the one person who influenced who you are the most in your life? Like we all have that one person. Because do you have anybody who influenced you?
మై would be indirectly my father only. Like though I kind of don't consider like many of his principles right, but in the negative side, like what he did I shouldn't do. Then I'll like, because what he did he kind of fucked up koncham.
Dude, I thought that you were saying such a kind thing.
No, kind thing
and
only.
Then suddenly you took a U-turn.
No, in a nice way only. I'm saying in both ways. Like because of his nature, amomadam tanam toti he couldn't like do certain things. So I've learned not to repeat those things.
Okay.
That way is kind of influential.
Yeah. Who do you think is the one?
Definitely my grandfather for sure. I know it's very cliched, but after that, like for sure it was my uncle Nag, my cousin Venki.
Okay.
They were very influential to me. My cousin Suresh Bava.
Okay.
So it was more my grandfather, Nag Mama, and Venki Bava.
Okay.
These were like, I used to kind of have like that. I used to look up to them. Yeah.
Correct. I'm curious about Nag Mama, as you call him, as an uncle, because we know him as a cool guy, right? Like, looks great, is charming, gets all the romantic movies. But as an uncle is
Mama.
is a different role, right? Like it's fatherly, but it's like, hey,
It's little cool.
He was more like my big brother kind of relationship.
Okay.
Because my mom was the eldest in my family. And my grandfather's children-in-law, and Chinmama was the youngest. So appudu, and I was the eldest grandchild and he was the youngest in his generation. I was the oldest in my generation.
Oh, so there was
So oka మేనమామ నే కాకుండా ఒక అన్నయ్య లాగా చూసేవాడిని,
okay.
like a big brother. And same thing with Venki Baba also.
All right.
Used to look up to both of them like big brothers.
Correct. Which I'm asking because brings us to our next question. It's called permit room. Permit room is that thin, shady lane beside a wine shop where you can drink. You're permitted to drink there.
Yeah.
So we kept that. So Santosh's suggestion, we kept it because that's where the most free-flowing conversations happen.
Right, right.
Like strangers are meeting and like talking their
అండ్ ఎవరి
hearts out,
మనోభావాలు దెబ్బతిన్నావు
you know.
అక్కడ ఏమైనా మాట్లాడుకోవచ్చు
Yeah. So we generally ask our guests about their drinking journey. Now, obviously, your film career, we have lots of other questions.
Right.
But we're just curious about the drinking career because everybody starts with something and goes on to something. So, what was your drinking career like?
Wow, my drinking career. It was started off, I don't drink anymore.
Correct. So, you have retired from the sport.
I have retired from the sport just occasionally once in a while. But it started off like probably with rum and coke.
That's solid start, man.
Yeah,
That's a hard start.
rum and coke, and then like and college lo like probably like cheap beer. Because US lo I couldn't afford like so we used to go to these 99-cent
స్టోర్స్
store. No, we used to have these nights akkada 99-cent pitchers unde. Monday night 99-cent pitchers ani.
Okay.
Like so yeah, it was started off with rum and coke, and then college lo it was like just mostly like beer because that's all you could afford.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how
Now
down-
it's like just very minimum. So the occasional like glass of champagne or occasional glass of wine, but I don't drink anymore.
But I'm curious about rum and coke because generally we start off with a beer or like
Or like
vodka.
vodka.
Those are the usual things.
Huh.
How did you start your
Ante
career?
adi old, it was Old Monk and Thumbs Up.
Correct.
So like
can mask
mask cheyataniki adi, yeah, but that was the general go to for lot of our friends, like you know, back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty introductory drink for like common introductory drink for back in the day. Old Monk and Thumbs Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, I graduated into it. As in
we started with
I started with beer. I remember also the first beer I had, which is like, there was a temple here. Right opposite temple, there is a wine shop. So it was almost like life is asking me questions now.
Right.
Do I go this way or that way? My friend
You
said, let's
clearly
go
chose
to
this way.
drink beer. And I drank it and I felt like, wow. Like, you know, like, wow, this is nice. Yeah, so I remember my first beer with a lot of like love. And then, of course, you don't have money, so you go into the vodka. That is the worst alcohol on earth.
white mischief.
White mischief.
Ooh,
And
God, isn't that
Smirnoff.
stuff crap? Sorry. Isn't that stuff quite bad? White
It is
Mischief?
terrible. Yeah, we'll cut this out, don't worry.
It's very bad in the morning, I remember.
Yeah.
My one
But a
friend-
lot of people, I think, my friends back in the day, that was the only thing available, I think.
Yeah.
White
mischief, and I started with Dankanam Imperial Blue IB and
Oh,
Oh
okay,
my
okay.
God, that's hard start. Rough start to career.
Madanta, Madi Old Monk. But Old Monk is a classic, man.
Yeah.
It's like, na friends kuda ippudu US lo anta like it was such a good
crave
rum.
for it.
I used to take bottles for them to the US. Like they used to ask for it.
Correct.
Like my American friends used to ask for it. Like,
Oh,
we used to
shit.
take bottles for
No,
it.
even now, like my
Yeah,
brother comes back,
it's a good
like,
one.
First, let's buy
yeah,
Old Monk,
Old
because
Monk.
the taste you don't get anywhere.
Yeah, it has a little sweetish taste.
Yeah,
I
like a
think.
vanilla or is that
Yeah,
cinnamon?
something,
What is
something,
the English?
yeah,
Something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Classic drink though.
Yeah, it's a classic one.
Yeah, and thumbs up. It's like, so generally what I find interesting about Old Monk and thumbs up is
Yeah.
they are two Indian products. Because generally, generally you'll have an Indian drink, okay, whatever it will be, whatever. But what you'll mix will be like Sprite, Coca-Cola, Videshi products.
Yeah.
Which Gandhiji was against. But rum and thumbs up or this thing is a complete
Yeah.
Indian.
No, also
You
when
could be drinking Kallu for all, like it's as Indian, yeah.
and also when you're sick, Old Monk and nice warm water goes super.
Yeah.
Ah.
I've had only brandy once like that. It was not really pleasant. Have you had brandy?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Like, because my grandfather used to have, like, after he became, he never used to drink.
Okay.
He was a smoker till about the age of 50.
Wow.
Because it was, everybody used to smoke. That was
It
very
was the smoking
fashionable.
era, yeah.
It was
showed the
it
movie
was very
also.
fashionable. Like, వాళ్ళు అప్పుడప్పుడు నాకు వాళ్ళు నిజంగా ఇష్టమా లేకపోతే ఊరికే స్టైల్ చేసేవారా సో he used to smoke. He never used to drink.
I'm curious, what brand? Do you remember the brand he used to smoke?
I don't know what brand he used to smoke. Because by the time I was born, he quit smoking.
Oh, okay.
I was born when he had his triple bypass operation.
Okay.
So that's around that time he adopted me and he gave up smoking, and the doctors recommended him to have like 2 pegs of brandy a day. 2 small pegs of brandy. Like It works as a blood thinner. Alcohol works as a blood thinner. So a lot of heart patients also, they recommend like having a glass of red wine or like one drink. So it's actually good for your heart.
Okay.
It reduces the load for your heart.
Okay.
Not like 3-4 drinks, 4-5, no, like 2-3 drinks max. So, so he used to have this, like this cognac.
Okay.
Religiously, he used to have just 2 small drinks every night. So later on, I just used to like sip from his glass, like kind of. I had an idea of like cognac for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, so that was your first drink, maybe?
I guess so. But it was just like a sip,
Like a wine tasting thing, maybe.
like a sip.
I remember one incident. One of my youngest brother,
Right.
he was like barely 4 or something, and my tata would drink. So he
అది
would come
గుర్తు
and
దే యూస్ టు గివ్ ఒక చిన్న సిప్ లాగా
చిన్న
ఇచ్చేవారు
sip.
కదా. అలాగే
చెంచాలాగా they put. He would like get up and go this way. that
అలాగే
way.
Yeah. My grandfather, I went through his diary, he used to smoke camel.
ఓ క్యామెల్.
Yeah. Didn't end very well
అప్పుడు
for him.
50-60s లో ఏం పాపులర్ సిగరెట్స్ ఉండేవో నాకు తెలియదు. నాకు
There must be some
తాత
Triple
good
five,
ones.
triple five. I remember S.V. Rangarao garu actually advertisements unde. Will cigarette ki or 555 ki.
ఓకే.
Will cigarettes అనుకుంటా. He was brand
మా
ambassador.
తాతగారు, దట్స్ అ గుడ్ క్వశ్చన్. ఐ డోంట్, when he was a smoker, I don't know what he smoked.
But don't you think it'll be documented on the internet somewhere?
I'm sure because he spoke about it.
Yeah.
But
Can you just search?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt what I don't remember think of what were the popular cigarettes in the 1960s in India.
Yeah, we'll search.
Charminar and
Charminar, I don't think so.
I think Charminar would have been too rough, no?
yeah, too rough,
But I don't know the other ones.
Maybe Dunhill, dude. Benson and Hedges, Marlboro.
I have no idea.
David Off. I would imagine he would smoke because it's
555
like
కూడా అప్పుడు ఫేమస్ కదా.
అప్పుడు డేవిడ్ ఆఫ్ అన్ని లేవు కదా అప్పుడు.
లేవా?
అప్పుడు లేవు.
Okay. Cool. All right. Sorry for that dead end. Cool. All right. So I'm sorry for for digressing. That is kind of the point of our podcast. It's smooth and free flowing, right? So I want to talk about one observation that I made, that generally when directors write movies, they put a version of themselves in the hero.
Yeah, that's
Not
very
only
true.
the ideas, but sometimes even the look,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 100%.
Have you noticed that?
I noticed that.
Yeah, because like Sailesh Kolanu was here,
Yeah.
he now looks like Nani in Hit 3. The hairstyle.
or he made Nani look like Sailesh.
Yeah. So
probably.
there must be some like give and take, right? We noticed in your films,
Yeah.
that is kind of, if you notice, in Godavari, you're dressed like Shekhar Kamala.
Yeah.
You know, shirts, the glasses that he used to wear at that time.
Right, 100%.
And in Golconda,
Yeah.
you have the Indra
goatee.
Goatee.
The French
Yeah,
beard.
the French
Yeah,
beard.
yeah. Absolutely.
So that was consciously like was it a or you
అంటే నేను
later
డైరెక్టర్
realized?
ఏం చెప్తే నేను అది వినేవాడిని ఇంచుమించు లైక్ అన్లెస్ ఇట్ లైక్ వాజ్ రియలీ లైక్ ఐ డోంట్ నో problematic. But generally I'm a director's actor, whatever like the director tells me, like I do it. But that is a very true observation.
Yeah.
In fact, Shekhar wanted my clothes to be more loose.
Oh.
And I used to get them like slightly fitted, like because Shekhar wears very loose clothes because he's very lean and like, so I said, Babu, I'm not as lean as you are, so నాకు కొంచెం అయినా నాకు ఏదో కష్టపడి ఏదో మేము జిమ్లు చేస్తాం, కనీసం బాడీ గీడి అయినా కొంచెం కాస్త కోస్తో కనపడివ్వండి. And we used to have my shirts tightened a little bit. I think without his knowledge, I think he used to want me to be like really loose. I used to tighten them a little bit, like so to make it like a little sleek. But they do want that whole like Godavari look about the sweater around my shoulder. That's all Shekhar.
Oh,
That's all Shekhar.
That's very true.
Yeah.
But you watch the movie now also, the chemistry between the leads is like sizzling even now. Right? Because generally in most movies, it is the meet cutes and the chemistry that kind of ages like milk.
Yeah.
Because whatever, the values of the world have changed and all. But that movie, it is electric even till today.
Yeah.
Do you ever go back to that movie?
I don't have that habit of seeing my old films. అలా ర్యాండమ్గా టీవీ మీద వస్తే లేకపోతే ఎవరైనా చూపిస్తే లైక్ అలా చూసి ఐ మూవ్ ఫార్వర్డ్. బట్ ప్రత్యేకంగా లైక్ ఐ డోంట్ repeat watch my own films.
Yeah.
It's a little weird and like it's a little narcissistic for me. For me, I feel
Correct.
like I'm not a chapter అయిపోయింది. I want it to be enjoyed by all of the audience and everyone, but నేను కూర్చుని ఆ సినిమాలే చూసి మళ్ళీ నా పాటలే విని ఐఎమ్ నాట్ దట్ కైండ్.
Okay. All right. But are there movies of yours that you go back and you're like, okay, I did well there in.
See, I don't go back and see some of my films because there'll be one moment or two moments where you cringe at yourself. ఎందుకు నేను నిజంగా ఆ డ్రెస్ వేసుకోవాల్సిందా, లేకపోతే ఆ యాక్టింగ్ ఏంటి కొంచెం బెటర్గా చేయొచ్చు, కాస్త డాన్స్ చేసేటప్పుడు కొంచెం లైక్ యుల్ బి కరెక్టింగ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్, లైక్ యుల్ బి క్రిటికల్ అబౌట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. Especially like it's like the way when you look at your old photographs sometimes.
Yeah,
we all like
Oh my God.
Post
అది
better.
ఆ జీన్స్ అవసరమా, ఆ టీ షర్ట్ అవసరమా, లైక్ కొంచెం ఆ హెయిర్ స్టైల్ అవసరం. You always critique yourself.
Correct.
So now I'm weird in that way. Like I'll look back and I'll be like, if I go and look back, I'll be critiquing myself.
Correct.
అవసరం లేదు. There's nothing I can do to change it right now. Like it's time to go move on to the next thing. Ante.
Okay.
I don't like really like dwell on the past.
Correct.
Like in any form,
Yeah.
good or bad.
But if you looked at it through a positive lens, just as a
Yeah.
thought experiment, because that is a film that just gives joy to people at
Yeah.
so many levels.
Right.
So just humor me here. If you looked at it through a lens like, okay, it's not bad if something is giving joy to so many people.
Yeah.
What is something about the movie that you like when you rewatch it, or do you like your performance in it, for example? Do you?
Yeah. That film, I'm mostly happy with my performance.
Yeah.
Like mostly I am. Until like చూసినప్పుడు కూడా they're not like I'm pretty proud and happy with myself, like for what I did. But దాంట్లో it just came very naturally to me. The whole film is just natural. It's just natural.
Yeah.
It's just like you just flow and be. Ante. Like it's not like okay ఇక్కడ మనం ఇక్కడ రిహర్సల్స్ చేసి డాన్స్ చేయాలి, ఇక్కడ ఫైట్ చేయాలి.
Yeah.
సో అలాంటి like those things weren't there. It was just such a natural film.
Yeah. And did you enjoy that process of just having to exist in a character?
Yeah. That was definitely one of my most it was my favorite shooting experiences.
Okay.
Like because అలాంటిది మళ్ళీ జరగటం అనేది చాలా కష్టం.
Yeah.
ఒక బోట్ మీద అందరు యూనిట్ అంతా ఒక కలిసి లైక్ it was a process.
Yeah.
Like for about 100 plus days, 120. Shekhar takes a long time to shoot films.
Uh-huh.
Like that film probably it took about 120 plus days to shoot. So but it was a very joyful experience.
It is Titanic with a happy ending.
Yeah. A lot of people called it the Titanic of Tollywood actually.
Really?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah, that
Titanic
can be
caused
given.
you to do 2 movies, I guess. Correct.
Now, I'm curious about when see you as you go approach the role natural గా అని చెప్తున్నారు కదా. సో యాజ్ అన్ యాక్టర్ సెట్స్ కి రేపు వెళ్తున్నారంటే ద ప్రీవియస్ డే మీరు సీన్ పేపర్ చూసుకుంటారా, ఆర్ డూ యూ బిలీవ్ ఇన్ ఇన్స్టెంట్ improvisation or getting the role instantly, like whatever it strikes you?
లేదు both are two things can be true. Like you have to be prepared, which I always like getting my script like and being prepared with my dialogue and everything in advance. But shooting spot కి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఆ environment చూసి చాలా improvisations ఇవన్నీ జరుగుతాయి.
Okay.
Like suddenly what props do we have, like what I can stand up here, I can do that. Acting is all about choices.
Yeah.
So you're presented with like a fresh set of choices. So it's always, I find it like you have to strike a balance between being prepared and being impromptu as well. You have to find that balance.
Correct. And when I rewatched Godavari, I noticed one thing. It's like it is such a role reversal of characterization. Because generally you show that the hero is the one who is outspoken, extrovert, taking the risks and all of that. And the lady is idealistic and good and
Soft.
Yeah,
it's reverse
it's a
here.
complete reverse in that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
It's aged so well. Congrats for that. The other thing I want to ask is that, see, when you look at your career apart from your work, right, there is like, you never come in the news generally for any controversies or anything. Like he said, like you're this chill guy, right?
I come in the news, but less.
Yeah, as in I'm saying for controversial reasons or things like that, you're never there. And that is one thing I notice about all the men in your family who have become actors. There is a certain, I don't know how to explain it, a certain suave, a certain polish. Do you know what I mean? Cases?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there is a certain dignity, a certain
class.
It's like, yeah, it's as if like you guys are grounded while you're navigating through the world of fame and whatever, acting. How is that, how did that imbibe? Did it come from Mr. A&R himself?
It came from the big man himself. And he always raised us, even though we had lots of wealth and money and everything, like, you know, like we had born with a silver spoon antaro, but like he never let that silver spoon go into the mouth. He always like, even though we had an opportunity for a golden spoon and a silver spoon, he always like brought at least me up, like, you know, with a normal spoon. Even
Steel spoon.
With a steel spoon.
Correct.
లైక్ ఇంట్లో ఒక 3-4 ఫారెన్ కార్లు ఉన్నా కూడా స్కూల్కి పబ్లిక్ స్కూల్ బస్సులో పంపించేవారు. సో యునో ఈ వాజ్ వెరీ గ్రౌండెడ్ అండ్ లైక్ మాకు ఎప్పుడు ఇప్పుడు స్కూల్లో ఇక్కడ ఐ నెవర్ హ్యాడ్ దట్ థింగ్ ఆఫ్ లైక్ గోయింగ్ టు ఫ్యాన్సీ రెస్టారెంట్ స్పెండింగ్ లాట్స్ ఆఫ్ మనీ. ఆల్వేస్ లైక్ బీయింగ్ ఒక బండి ఫుడ్ తింటాం నాకు బాగా ఇష్టం. ఐ యూస్ టు డూ లైక్ యునో ఐ యూస్ టు స్ట్రైక్ అ బ్యాలెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ దట్.
ఓకే.
అండ్ స్కూల్ కూడా స్కూల్ బస్లో పబ్లిక్ స్కూల్ బస్లో ఆర్టీసీ బస్లో వెళ్ళటం.
ఓకే.
ఇంట్లో ఫారెన్ కార్లు ఉన్నా కూడా.
ఓకే.
ఇట్ జస్ట్ టాట్ మీ బట్ ద సింప్లిసిటీ ఇట్ జస్ట్ కేమ్ ఫ్రమ్ తాతగారు.
ఓకే.
షూర్. Yeah. Because he was like that.
Yeah. And also more than the simplicity, the certain like a soft spokenness, a certain dignity in public spaces. I don't know, am I rambling? But you know what I mean? Though there is
also
it's so beautiful to watch, man. I'm just
in the movies also, it translates to the movies also.
Yeah.
Like if you see the Manmadhus, the Satyams.
Yeah, the
Godavaris.
Yeah, you guys get like the classy romantic movies, man.
How did
Don't you think so? Yeah, it's very nice to see. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, and one of the interviews somewhere you had mentioned that you like to live life or see life through a small way, or live life in a small way. You don't like the big, large, luxurious life. Was something that you mentioned. I just wanted to hear more about that.
I'm easy to please. Like, you know, naku I'm very low maintenance. Let me put it that way. So it doesn't. I like to be grounded. అది ఎక్కడి నుంచో వచ్చింది అది. Like, yeah, I do like, you know, drive a Lexus and like, you know, I have my few fancy things, but they're not like overtly like, you know, too fancy. But still like, you know, I like to go on a bike, like, you know, and I try to balance things. I still go in an auto. Like
really?
I have no problem.
In an auto,
I still take an
share
Uber.
auto.
I still take an Uber, not a share auto, but like I still take an Uber sometimes. Like,
really?
You know, yeah, I do.
No, the first time that you appeared, you coming here, walking in, I saw you with a bag.
Yeah.
As if like you're going from some one place to one more place, because usually I didn't expect like Sumanth would like you'd have an assistant who'll hold a bag or this one.
Yeah,
like
I'm not an entourage kind of guy. Like shooting up to like, you know, an assistant is needed. In situations like this, you really don't need an assistant. Like, you know, అవసరమైతే చిన్న like I'll have my little fan in my. I live with my backpack is always like my personal assistant. So ఏదైనా మేకప్ టచ్అప్ చేసుకోవాలన్నా అన్నీ దాంట్లోనే ఉంటాయి. Like, you know, your ear pods and so whatever. So I like to be self-sufficient that way.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm sure your Uber rating is pretty high. You know?
Yeah.
I'm sure it tips generously. You know, that is a true test of who you are as a human being, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
Your Uber rating.
No.
I know friends with such shit Uber rating that you'll not believe. Like I know a friend, she's 3.2.
3.2. That's bad.
So I asked what happened.
What does she do?
So every right.
So she gets into.
No, so what she does is, suppose there's a bakery. She'll be like, "Bhaiya, ruko thoda."
Alaga.
And then once she puked and all in the cab. So took a nosedive, the ranking. But I would say I'm at a respectable.
I have some 4.7 or something.
You can't assume that, buddy. One bad call, you get a 0.
I think I'm about that only, like, you know, but ఎక్కువ తీసుకోను, like, but when the need arises, I don't have an issue.
Correct. I'm just checking. 4.86, buddy.
Oh,
Let's see if you're a better human being than that.
checking. 4.69.
Buddy.
That's 4.7.
Gotta be a good human being. Let's go. All right. Before we take a break, we'll have segments. I just wanted to ask you, we have 2 cases. We have to promote the movie.
Anaganaga.
Yeah. All right. So before we go on the break, do you want to just give us a brief opinion about
Anaganaga.
the movie? And
Yeah, నిన్నే అనగనగా. Okay, where let's go from the start. Film was pitched to me about like 7-8 months ago, and I did not like the first version of it.
okay.
It was written by somebody else.
Okay.
I didn't think it would work in Telugu.
Okay.
And then Sunny, the director, and his co-writer Deepthi, both very young and very fresh with some fresh thoughts. Their version, they came to me 3 months after the first version was pitched to me.
Okay.
And then I was like, I didn't even have any hope on the project. Like, because నాకు ఫస్ట్ వర్జన్ నాకు ఎక్కలేదు నాకు.
Okay.
వాళ్ళు సనీ దీప్తి వర్జన్ కాదు. దాని తర్వాత 3 months later they said, okay, just read our script. And I was almost had no confidence in it.
Okay.
But then Sunny and Deepti's version just blew me away because it wasn't. It was such an improvement from the first version.
Okay.
And నేను immediately నేను ప్రాజెక్ట్ యాక్సెప్ట్ చేశాను.
Okay.
And whether it's an OTT film or whether it's a theatrical film, I didn't care. I just wanted to be a part of this film because I was very moved by the script.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be something new for me also. ఎందుకంటే అప్పటి వరకు నేను 26 years I never played a dad. And this is a primarily like, and I'm not a dad in real life. Like,
Correct.
I also, not that, you know, they're interlinked or anything like that. But that's how the film happened.
Okay.
And now today everything is done in a premiere shows Padni, and the reaction has been unanimously good. ఇప్పుడు level of good చూడాలి, but like, you know, we have kind of like passed, at least for sure, with flying colors, and just happy about that.
Okay.
And yeah, I play this to give a brief. I play this school teacher, like
Another educated role.
another yeah, but he's a failure as a school teacher.
Okay.
And he gets, because he has these alternative teaching methods where he likes to teach struggling students like through stories, geography aina, history aina, maths aina, ఏదైనా ఒక స్టోరీ ఫామ్లో లైక్ నేర్పించాలని ఈడు కోరిక.
Okay.
But he faces lots of opposition from his previous schools. He gets fired from his schools. And then how he succeeds not only with his teaching method but with his son also is the crux of the story. So it's a very new kind of film for me. And తెలుగులో కూడా ఇప్పుడు I can't give a comp. Like హిందీలో చెప్పచ్చు మేబీ కొంచెం ఆ తారే జమీన్ పర్ కొంచెం పోలికలు ఉంటాయి ఏమో, but it's a completely different story.
Okay.
But just happy that, you know, it started off on a good note. The early reviews all are very, very positive. So I'm just thrilled about that.
Correct.
If you've noticed, we ask every guest on Permit Room about financial planning, financial independence. No matter what stage of your life you are in, whether you're a student, a professional, or an aspiring filmmaker, you need financial independence. We have tied up with Upstocks, where you can open a demat account on Upstocks. However, if you don't know anything about investing, Upstocks is also offering courses called UpLearn, where you can learn the fundamentals of stock market investing. To begin your investing journey, please click on the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching our ad. Let's get back to the episode.
Welcome back. We are talking about your movie, Anaganaga, and it talks about education system in India and teachers and how discipline is meted out to students. On that topic, both of us have very strong opinions because we were butchered in school. like anything.
At that there were no rules also.
There were no rules. You know that now.
Yeah, I know. We used to get hit and
Yeah.
this and that. Like, now it's all like the times have changed, kada.
Correct.
That time teachers would have canes, different measurements of
Yeah,
canes.
yeah. That was back in the day. I mean, that was a product of the times.
Yeah.
I can't get too critical about it.
Yeah. No,
That hasn't,
we are a little critical because we share that trauma. You know, in our school.
ఇంకా PTSD ఉందా దాని గురించి స్కూల్లో పడిన దెబ్బ
అండ్ ఇండియాలో PTSD అంటే PT సార్ వల్ల వచ్చిన PTSD.
అవును, మా పీటీ సరే మాకు కూడా బాగా ఇచ్చేవారు మాకు బాగా స్కూల్లో బాగా పడి అంటే నాకు ఉన్న వాళ్ళలో చాలా తక్కువ బికాజ్ ఐ వాజ్ రిలేటివ్లీ లైక్ ట్రబుల్ ఫ్రీ అండ్ లైక్ quiet and kept to myself and all that. I was kind of a popular kid also, like with the teachers and all. Because I really don't know నన్ను హైదరాబాద్ పబ్లిక్ స్కూల్ డెప్యూటీ హెడ్ బాయ్గా పెట్టారు నన్ను. అంటే with what qualifications I became deputy head boy, I still don't have any idea. It's probably like just I was just maybe popular. That's about it.
So what were you good at, like extracurricular stuff?
No, I was decent at my studies. I was like I used to play tennis for my school.
Wow.
I was reasonably good, like in sports, reasonably good. That's it, not very good.
Correct.
But that's what I was like, above average in studies, above average, reasonably good in sports.
Yeah.
But trouble-free kid that people liked generally. So I became the deputy head boy, like my school. It shocks me actually.
But what were the punishments like?
Punishment స్కూల్లోనా ఆ స్టాండర్డ్ ఫ్రాక్ జంప్స్,
Okay.
ఏది
Running around
గోడ కుర్చీలు,
Correct. Progressive school. Compared to.
and then the occasional spankings from we used to get them from either the teachers or like some teachers and some prefects.
Yeah.
I never used to like I never, when I became the deputy head boy, I never used to punish anyone or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have been a green flag since then.
Maybe.
Yeah. In our school, the kind sir was the guy who would let you choose the stick that he would hit you with.
Damn.
And we were like, wow, he's a kind man. Yeah. But,
Well, it looks like both of you were kind of like naughty also, right? Like you had trouble, you got into your
We
share
got
of
into
trouble.
like lot of trouble.
yeah, we were.
నేను కొంచెం తక్కువ.
Yeah. I think that is one big drawback of being an extrovert. In childhood, at least. Yeah. But.
Are you in touch with your school friends?
Not all of them, just some of them. Very few of them actually. అంటే ఈ రీయూనియన్స్కి దీనికి అన్నిటికీ వెళ్ళటం కూడా కొంచెం తక్కువే నేను. బట్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ లైక్ యాక్టివ్లీ ఇన్ దోస్ స్కూల్ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్స్ అండ్ లైక్ డిస్కసింగ్ లైక్
Okay.
just అలా బేసిక్గా లైక్ I enjoyed my time there. I'm very proud of being a HPS Eagle.
Yeah.
But not too active with the
Correct. School nostalgia groups.
nostalgia groups. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your film talks about alternative education in a way.
Yeah.
Right? So here is a thought experiment. Imagine you are a trillionaire, gazillionaire, whatever is the biggest term, right? And you get to set up a school where you get to decide the curriculum and general these things. What would be your ideal school that you would set up?
Oh, that's a very general question. అంటే నాకు రెగ్యులర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ మీద పెద్ద అవగాహన లేదు. ఐ కాంట్ బట్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, మెనీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ హూ రన్ స్కూల్స్, ప్రైవేట్ స్కూల్స్, whatever. They're in the education business. We are in the education business. You can ask me like to talk about something like film school. I could probably tell you. Like,
Okay, let's
see,
go.
I'm on the Annapurna Film School, like board.
Yeah.
I attend all our film school board meetings. Like I know what's going on. But Amla is the director of our film school. She handles my aunt. She handles the day-to-days. But our board, I keep myself like aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
But coming back, I digress. Coming back to your question, ఇప్పుడు ఎలాంటి స్కూల్ సెట్ చేయాలని, it depends on what kind of school. Whether is it a sports school, is it a regular And be specific. You ask me like.
So I would, if I were to give my opinion, there should be only 3 subjects of classes every day.
Okay.
Then lunch. Then
Full plate game style.
sports, music, art, cinema, sort of a thing. Because don't you think with AI coming and all, the whole concept of remembering something is now kind of pointless?
Yeah, I fear that sometimes. That we are using our brains less.
Yeah.
Like, because of our phones, we are using our brains less.
Correct.
But also there's a way of keeping your brain sharp also if you want to. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, social media, AI and AI and all are the big challenges that we all have to face with in our different lines of work. But education వచ్చేసరికి అంటే I'm not see, I don't like to see, education is very, very important. So unless I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to comment about certain things
Okay.
unless I deep dive into it. I'm not competent enough to.
Yeah.
Please don't think it's a diplomatic answer, but it is diplomatic. But I'm not. I would like to know more about about a subject
Correct.
which is as important as education. Because ఒకటి నేను నమ్ముతాను ఏంటంటే that teachers are one of the most important profession.
Yeah.
Along with probably medicine and things like that. And it's highly underrated and a feeling.
Yeah.
And they're highly underrated and highly underpaid.
Paid. Yeah.
So definitely our teachers ki unna importance nenu I'd like to improve that.
Yeah.
See, because cinema industry lo most undervalued people, if you ask me, are writers.
Correct.
And in education, I feel one of the most undervalued people are teachers.
Correct.
These both things I like to rectify because
Yeah.
in film, writers are the most important people.
Correct.
To start off with
Yeah.
for most kinds of content.
Yeah.
And అదే విధంగా ఎడ్యుకేషన్లో కూడా టీచర్స్ ఆర్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్.
Yeah.
I like to improve their pay and their
Yeah.
value.
Yeah.
Basically.
In my school, all teachers get whatever.
All kids.
No,
what?
they get a luxury car to travel and aspirate. No, I'm saying in my imaginary
In
school.
your okay. Oh,
where
you're
I'm
putting
the-
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. They get that. Yeah.
No, I wonder now many of the international schools that we come across, each of them have 5 lakhs a year or 7 lakhs, 3 lakhs per annum per kid. Then where does that money go? Doesn't it go to the teachers or?
I guess maybe in private schools is there different different for government schools, private schools, but more importance to the teachers.
Correct. Pay them better. Kind of. Yeah. Cool. We'll quickly move forward before the discussion becomes political about schools and education. We have a section called member questions.
Members' questions.
Where the people who are premium members of our channel, they get to ask the guests questions.
Direct questions.
And if you want to ask your favorite guest questions, please take the quarter bottle membership and you can ask. DD writes, thank you DD writes, she's our full bottle member. So our memberships are called quarter bottle, half bottle, full bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see it's a very drinking centric podcast. Hey everyone, hope my comment gets picked. Wink. You didn't have to wink. We would have accepted it even without. Hey Sumanth, exclamatory mark. Me and my family were rewatching one of your movies, Madhumasam, just this weekend, and we were like, you are like the Abhay Deol version of Telugu cinema.
Wow. Okay.
Just from the perspective that you're constantly choosing content and substance over every other flair. Really love your work. My question is, how do you navigate the pressures of business and choose content you resonate with, especially when there's such noise around what works and what doesn't? By the way, trailer looks amazing. All the best for everything you do. So, firstly, the Abhay Deol comparison is kind of little accurate.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Spot on.
I don't know much about Abhay.
Okay.
But I think I don't. That's up to you. Each person's got their perspective.
Yeah. No, but I can see the similarity. He also does completely offbeat movies and.
I don't think we have such offbeat films like in Telugu. Sometimes I wish we had a Dev D or something like
Yeah.
that. But our closest thing that we have to that is probably an Arjun Reddy.
Correct.
So.
Would you play a role like that? Somebody who's fucked up
That's awesome, yeah. That's a blessing, that kind of role. That's one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
Because I always wanted to do a Dev D kind of film at that earlier on.
Yeah.
we thought about it also, like, getting the rights and, like, doing it.
Okay.
But you needed a director also with that kind of vision.
Correct.
You just can't bring it here. You have to nativize it and, like, all sorts of stuff. And then in that process, Arjun Reddy came.
Okay.
That was our answer to,
Yeah.
some. Then probably, like, in my opinion, as good of an answer, like,
Yeah.
it's my feeling.
Correct.
Yeah.
It would have been amazing if you did Devdi though, because it would be like a hat tip
To my
to your grandfather also having done the
yeah.
film. Yeah.
Prem Nagar.
But if there are writers, please approach him with a role that is, how would you describe that? Like that, what kind of a role? Like an intense role? Like a crazy?
I have that inclination to play something completely off.
Correct.
Like, definitely like a author-backed, like, negative role,
Yeah.
author-backed negative.
Yeah, I think you'll be good at it too.
Yeah, I'll be good at it. I'll be damn good at it.
Yeah.
And
I
often
know,
you think
I know I'll be good at it, but people still see, the soft like me, and like they still think of me as the Ram on that boat in Godavari, or like
I remember like
me in Anaganaga, or like this idealistic.
Yeah. Let's change that opinion. Okay, so just imagine he's
No,
like
because I can be whack. Like I have that little like sort of like that streak in me, that that Hatke streak.
Yeah.
Like my favorite characters are all they're not heroes. None of my favorite characters are genuine heroes.
Yeah.
They're all like some little bit of anti-heroes.
Like who? Can you give a few examples?
Like my favorite cinematic character is probably Darth Vader. And Spock from Star Trek.
Yeah.
And they're all interesting, like quirky, kind of like, and they're edgy. I like the edginess.
Correct.
I like to play something edgy, for
Yeah.
sure. Never like really got the opportunity for that.
Yeah. No, I would request.
think
Please,
now,
if you're
yeah,
watching,
it's a time.
this is how the movie should be. It should be like romantic boat ride, cruise, a guy and a girl. Then he kills her first 10 minutes.
Dark
Throws her off the boat.
it'll be like Dark Godavari.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't mind doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry. To go back to the question, my question is, how do you navigate the pressures of business and choose content you resonate with?
How do you navigate the pressures? It's a good question. Like, I don't pay much attention to all of that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I have this peer pressure to do a film like this, or peer pressure to do a film like that. I just kind of go to my own tune.
Okay.
And to what I feel. Like my feelings take precedence over everything.
Correct.
Like over the rat race, over like to do something commercial, like see, I like different kinds of films. I like all kinds of films. So నేను నాకు ఆల్వేస్ సే, నాకు ఒక పచ్చి కమర్షియల్ మాస్ మీటర్లో వచ్చిన సినిమా నాకు నచ్చితే చేస్తాను, ఒక ఆర్ట్ హౌస్ సినిమా వస్తే చేస్తాను, కానీ నాకు నచ్చాలి, నన్ను ఎక్సైట్ చేయాలి.
Okay.
సో మై టేస్ట్ ఈస్ వెరీ వేరీడ్.
Okay.
Like I don't want to do only this kind of film or this kind of film. My next film, like is a theatrical. It has a lot of commercial parameters.
Okay.
It has action. It has the big screen, like VFX elements and all that. So it's almost ready.
Anaganaga over out. Is also Anaganaga.
No, అది రెడీ అయిపోయింది. అది త్వరలో అది కూడా రావటానికి, because there was some dispute between the producer and the financer. Everything is cleared now. Like it's all greenlit. The other film that is ready for release, and the other film that I have is called Mahendragiri Varahi. It's a long title, but it's a supernatural mystery thriller /action, like adventure kind of a film. So
It's gone on floors.
90% is done. 90% is done. 95% is done. So just have about maybe 5-6 days of shooting left.
Correct.
That'll be my next release mostly.
Have you? Oh, sorry.
So I like to I'm not fixed that ఇలాంటివే చేయాలి అలాంటివే చేయాలి అంటే ఏం జానర్లో వచ్చినా అది నన్ను ఎక్సైట్ చేయాలి అంతే.
Okay.
అది.
Do you know this Gen Z slang called soft boy?
No, I don't know
It's like
half of the genre.
BOI. Hey, just search that.
Some of it like soft boy. Yeah.
Soft boy. I mean, this says boy,
Yeah.
but this has a meaning.
I mean,
To
use
describe a type
online
of
to
man who is
describe a
perceived
man.
as sensitive,
Artistic.
artistic and emotionally expressive, with a touch of vulnerability.
That's nothing like me, man.
But I
In
think
real life, are you that guy?
that's like you're tired of it, I guess now.
So to type of okay, I'm perceived as okay. I'm sensitive. I'm artistic. Emotionally expressive. Not at all. That doesn't because I'm in real life. I'm very emotionally kind of very neutral
Okay.
and very calm
Okay.
and balanced. I would think and a,
Okay.
and a touch of
Touch of
vulnerability.
vulnerability?
Yeah, that works. Three of them kind of work for me, but the emotionally expressive thing doesn't work for
No?
me. Yeah.
You're not able to like.
I'm emotionally expressive when I get paid and like ask camera on చేసి యాక్షన్ అని చెప్తే అప్పుడు ఎమోషనల్లీ ఎక్స్ప్రెసివ్ లేకపోతే సందేహం లేదు లైక్ ఐమ్ వెరీ కామ్ అండ్ మెజర్డ్
Correct. Because like a great man said, if you're good at something, don't do it for free.
No, also మొన్న సీతారామం తర్వాత ఐ థింక్ ఆ ఇంటర్వ్యూలో డిస్కషన్ లో యూర్ లైక్ సేయింగ్ ఐఎమ్ ఎంజాయింగ్ ప్లేయింగ్ దిస్ రోల్స్ లైక్ టైర్డ్ ఆఫ్ ప్లేయింగ్ రామ్ ఇవన్నీ సో ఐ థింక్ లైక్ రైటర్స్ షుడ్ లుక్ అవుట్ ఫర్ దిస్ లైక్
యా అండ్ ఎడ్జీ ఆథర్ బ్యాక్డ్ నెగటివ్ రోల్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ దట్ ఐ రియలీ వాంట్ టు డూ ఎప్పుడు చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి చెప్తానే ఉన్నాను నేను బట్ ఐ నెవర్ గాట్ లైక్ రోల్స్ లైక్ దట్
Yeah.
that I was happy with.
Correct.
Uchini,
Yeah.
but they were like more like one caricature or something like that. Like
Okay.
I won't do something like that.
Okay. All right. While we go to the next question, wow.
One sec, just one biscuit and I'm good.
One long question. Sun999s, thank you. You asked questions. Hi, Sumanth Anna. My favorite movies are Premagatha, one of RGV's best. Yuvakudu, mischievous and ambitious. Godavari, nuanced. Mallirava, matured and additionally nuanced. Do you revisit your old movies from 2000s? You said
That's already
no, I
answered.
guess. All right.
if you have to change anything about them what will it be or
One fact you're cool about them. Which would you binge, cringe, and singe? Oh my god, what is that?
What's
poetry?
Wow.
Singe is like to burn. So I think so. Is that the meaning of singe? Can you just like burn? To burn the surface of something slightly, usually by accident. All right. Would you change anything about those movies?
Yeah, first two movies I'd probably change the climax.
Alright.
Because the Premakada and Yuvakudu,
Uh-huh.
the one comment about both the films are average running commercially.
Uh-huh.
Yuvakudu, even though like Yuvakudu is considered like kind of an undervalued film now. Like some సినిమాలు అప్పుడు చేసినప్పుడు మెనీ ఇయర్స్ లేటర్ దీని ఈ సినిమాలో విషయం ఉంది అన్నప్పుడు లైక్ ఉంటుంది లైక్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మహేష్ కలేజా లైక్ ఇవి కమర్షియల్గా బాగా ఆడకపోయినా ఇట్ హ్యాస్ అ
Yeah.
లైక్ పీపుల్ లైక్ ఇట్
yeah
సో
it has got that cult still.
it's got that thing. So Premakada and Yuvakudu also have that kind of commercial ga anta peaks lo aadakpoina like they're considered to be good films.
Uh-huh.
But both of them have weaknesses. Both of them have weak climaxes.
Okay.
So if Premakada and Yuvakudu, if I had to change anything, probably a climax, we would have probably had rewrite them and do it because that was the comment.
Okay.
Migta Godavari, I won't change anything. From Mallirava also probably like not much.
Mallirava has my heart.
Huh?
Mallirava has my heart. Like the opening scene.
Mallirava, I
itself-
would probably like just change the uniform colors of the children. I think they were like bright yellow. Apart from that, and I really won't change much else.
Okay. Cool. Which would you binge, cringe, and singe? Do you want to answer that?
Binge, cringe, and singe. I don't know what the meaning of singe.
Singe is
I
like
would
burn.
I would never binge anything.
Okay.
Like I would want everybody
People to
else like to binge on them.
Yeah, but you're
Please.
just hosting the party, like just walking around.
Because I am not too comfortable seeing myself.
Correct.
Like I mentioned. Cringe ఉన్నాయిలే చాలా సినిమాలు ఉన్నాయి వాట్లా ఐ వోంట్ క్రింజ్ మచ్ అబౌట్ లైక్ దోస్ 4-5 మూవీస్ there's not really much to cringe about that. Maybe my dancing, I cringe about my dancing. Like I could have definitely danced better.
Correct.
I feel I have 2 left feet. Like if I rehearse properly, I'm all right.
Correct.
Presentable. But otherwise, I feel like I have 2 left feet.
Yeah. And is that the hardest part of being
An actor. As an actor.
mainstream actor? The dancing part is.
No, I've done some good numbers. Like I've in Satyam and
Satyam
like,
also, yeah.
Gauri and like I've had some good numbers like where I've danced like reasonably well.
Yeah.
But that's something that like in all the aspects of probably commercial
Yeah.
filmmaking, that for me that was probably the hardest thing.
Correct.
I used to love action. I still love action.
Uh-huh.
Like I love doing action, but dancing, like I have to concentrate a bit more. That doesn't come the easiest to me.
And when I was watching Godavari, I just want to ask you this. There's a scene where you take off your shirt when you go into the river and she assumes that you try to...
Yeah.
And then you take off your shirt. He's like ripped, man.
Yeah, full.
He's like, you can see
even now
down the shoulders.
Even now he feels like he's completely fit and
Yeah. So at that time, it was not really a thing to be like muscular, right? Or
Yeah.
to be...
I wanted that topless scene to be very subtle.
Yeah.
అంటే ఒక కారణం ఉండాలి షర్ట్ తీయటానికి.
Correct.
అంటే
Well played.
and that was a Shekhar Kamala film.
Yeah.
that too in a Shekhar Kamala film.
And it's a side profile thing. They don't...
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
so it's very subtle.
Yeah.
But like you know that Kamlini is giving me the second look.
Yeah. They were
we
close.
didn't expect Ram to have that body. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, in 2007, okay, 2007, we were roaming on the streets of Rajahmundry whole day for a travel agent to book a boat, which was overnight, a cute cabin, wooden rooms, pullatlu serving, open dining rooms, but got laughed at that it can only happen in movies, dreams, and in reality, only day trip with around 150 people and limited time available. Eventually, we succumbed to reality, and everyone along with us on the boat were cursing in a lighter way in that why these movie guys play with our emotions. And a disclaimer akin to smoking, drinking to be displayed at start of the film that this kind of magical boat exists only in movies.
So,
Okay. By the way, I think Shekhar Kamala deserves 2 disclaimers. One is this, if you accept. In Happy Days, he should write.
College is not like
College is not like this. Yeah.
that. Yeah. I know movies we kind of embellish everything.
Yeah.
I know.
No, for a long time I thought like
ఆ గోదావరి బోట్ క్రూజ్ అలాగే
అట్లనే ఉంది
ఉంటుంది
అనుకున్నా. నిజంగా చాలా పుల్లట్లు వేస్తారు అనుకున్నా.
Yeah. But if he created out of his imagination, that is a cool reimagination of a cruise.
Yeah.
Right? It's a very Indian cruise.
Yeah.
There is like somebody's cooking, people are chatting, there's gossiping.
Right.
And then there is...
No, there's a nice part of the bay of the boat. అది ఎట్లా అంటే బ్యాక్ యార్డ్ టెర్రస్ లాగా ఒక ప్లేస్ ఉంటుంది.
Correct.
Where it's attached to the boat and it's going. A small place over there. That also is there. Like that's why.
Well, Suman, Sun 999, you were not the first to fall for the vicious traps of Mr. Shekhar Kamala. Yeah.
We should, all of us, we do that. Yeah, it's like we cinemale, like we dramatize, beautify, embellish.
Yeah.
సో నిజ జీవితంలో అలాగే ఇప్పుడు ఉండవు అంత గ్లామరస్గా.
No, I'm sure many people even till now wouldn't be knowing that actually Bhadrachalamlo that such kind of boat. I thought like for a long time, even till like
ఉన్నాయి అనుకుంటా, బట్ నాట్ లైక్
this.
that even complete and with the Godavari movie experience.
Yeah.
Doubtful.
But I won't blame the movie because, like, I've also experienced this. The first time I went to a club, I was like, where are all the dancing people?
Yeah.
Because you always see them people like, and I'm like, there's nobody. There's just like one guy drinking in the corner. And
No, also I have similarities of Godavari. Like Godavari came before Queen came. The line is kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like, after her marriage is called off, she goes on her alone. Why can't I go alone? And they meet.
But then it's
Queen also kind of is similar.
Cool.
Again.
Hi, Sumanth sir. It is surprising and uncommon to see a person who is stoic, zen, but not a bibliophile.
Oh my God. Explain all.
Bibliophile అంటే like
పుస్తకాలు చదువున్నా.
Oh.
Isn't that what it is? Bibliophile is somebody who reads books.
Jeez, I almost was going to say like, is it someone
Believes
who...
in the Bible?
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like that. Thank you. I would have made a big faux pas.
But are you stoic as a person?
Yeah.
Stoic.
I'm stoic and zen.
Okay.
Definitely those two I would probably like characterize myself.
Yeah. So that's what he's saying.
As I'm growing older, like, I'm probably like more zen.
Okay.
Like, definitely.
Okay.
No, the last word I don't even want to attempt. I kind of pride my English, but I'm having a problem like attempting that.
Bibliophile.
Bibliophile.
Yeah.
I'm a scriptophile.
Oh.
I read.
You might have invented a new word right there.
Yeah. I read lots of. I read.
Yeah.
I read Telugu. I read Hindi. I mean, I read English. Like but I read a lot of scripts, so I'm a scriptophile.
Yeah.
So reading is a habit for me.
Correct.
Yeah, but
You might have-
but not books.
Yeah.
But do you want to know something about me? I love books as a means of decoration.
Oh, that's not bad. We will not judge you for that. Books add a certain character to a space.
There's nothing like, setting up, like having like books like in a bookshelf.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm very fascinated with that.
Correct.
So in a way, I'm a bibliophile then.
Yeah, you like to file them.
I like, there you go. So I'm a bibliophile. Yeah.
Yeah. But you might have inadvertently coined a new term. Is there a word called scriptophile?
Scriptophile. And which only I think actors can be scriptophile.
Oh shit, there's an app called Scriptophile. All right.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Let's cut that out.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I tend to like read a lot of scripts, so like I guess I am a scriptophile. Yeah.
All right. Cool. The next part of the given your fascination for rock music, which one rock show did you enjoy the most in US and India? Awaiting most to experience. For rock shows, would you enjoy solo or with a group?
One by one.
And by rock, do you mean classic rock? What is the kind of rock music that?
I'm actually a contrarian in this. I'm going to surprise you.
Okay.
I'm not much into live concerts.
Okay.
Oh.
Like I tried.
Uh-huh.
I like the more intimate small concerts.
Okay.
Like, for example, Bruce Springsteen is one of my most favorite like singer-songwriter, ones who grew up in my formative years. I guess, can you term that as classic rock? Not exactly, no. It's more American, like...
Yeah. It is like Americana rock, actually.
Americana
Bruce
Springsteen. Yeah, but he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I don't much like going to concerts.
Yeah?
I tried it a few times.
Is it because of the crowd and the...
Yeah, see, I'm not much into crowds.
Correct.
And I also feel that like the audio experience that you get, I would rather sit at home
And get
and put like, like in my home theater, or put like a great set of like headphones on and just experience it like, by myself.
Correct.
I get the most pleasure like, getting that pleasure by myself. I love listening to music,
Okay.
but in my own space, not with a bunch of people.
Correct.
Okay.
And and at present, my favorite rock band is it's very small. It's not small. Again, little known band called The National.
I know The National.
Yeah.
I know one song that they wrote.
Yeah, that's because of Taylor Swift.
Game of Thrones.
No, The National are Taylor Swift's favorite band.
Oh, really? Okay.
So they make music nothing like Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Fabulous alternative art rock band.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite rock band at present.
Okay.
It's called The National.
Didn't they shoot a song for Game of Thrones?
No. I don't think they did that.
The search one?
National.
It's a US band. Like, they've been around for a long time.
No, they did. The Reigns of Castamere.
Oh, did they do?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a great... can you just play that video? It's a great interpretation
I
of...
did not know they had a hand in that.
Yeah.
I just keep listening to their song.
Oh, it's a
Wow,
cover.
they did this?
They performed this. As in
they
the original
performed
is by
this.
that guy, Raman Javadi.
They performed it.
They performed this song.
Oh.
Okay.
The Reigns of Castamere. When it comes in the Red Wedding, when everybody dies.
Oh, in the Red Wedding.
Yeah,
no?
this
This
song.
oh, I did not know that. But yeah, so
That is the band that's your favorite band.
Right now.
right now my favorite, at present, my favorite rock band is called The National.
Okay.
And all time, it's probably Springsteen. Bruce, a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Silken Words. That's a nice name. Hi, Sumanth. You're enormously talented. You're often described as Indira Bhai, Akshay Khanna of Telugu industry. There are many stories you would fit into. Yuvakudu has aged well, so has Godavari, and now they are looked at as classics. Do you have any plans to produce films in the future? Our opinion is you should at least produce and act in one film with all newcomers.
Let's see if I find a script. Production is not my immediate. My ideal thing is if you, I'd like to work for another producer. I don't want to produce it myself.
Correct.
Because I don't have that kind of bandwidth at the moment. But like, for example, if there is a really good script and a director that cannot find a producer,
Okay.
I will definitely take it up.
Okay.
And I don't mind doing, it needn't be only for me. Like for example, like I just like a script, and it's if I feel somebody else will be more apt to it, I'll definitely produce it. But it's something that I have to feel connected and passionate about the script and the project. Yeah.
Hello, I'm really sorry for the interruption, but it's time for an advertisement. Our sponsor for this podcast are Mana Diamonds, a Hyderabad-grown diamond brand that provides diamonds, gold, and kundan jewelry, where you can find IGI certified jewelry for bridal collections or weddings, or if you just want to buy jewelry. If you had a fight with your spouse and you want to appease them, here is a hint. Here is hint number 1, and here is hint number 2. Gurtupettukondi, idi మా డైమండ్స్ వాళ్ళ డైమండ్స్ కాదు, ఇది మన డైమండ్స్. సో ప్లీజ్ స్కాన్ దిస్ QR code to visit their page or go to their exclusive store at road number 10, Banjara Hills. Thank you. Oh my God.
This is like 10,
Jeez.
15 marks answer.
But great. All right. Hello, Sumanth. One of my comfort movies when I was a child was Golconda High School. I lost count of how many times I've watched it. When I was a child, my mother used to scold me on the number of times I used to play that movie on the television. How was it like working with a bunch of kids back then, and of course working with Mohan Krishnendraganti? Sir, was there any difference that you noticed in working with kids compared to working with people of your age? Also, in your words, what does GHS mean to you?
What does GHS mean to me? Well, Golconda High School definitely, in my library, is one of the special films. Very undervalued film.
Yeah.
More
It's a genre film almost. It's a sports genre.
I think it was one of the, maybe, definitely one of the first sports dramas, like true sports dramas.
Yeah.
After that, I think Nani came out with Beamley. I think Beamley Kabaddi Jattu was before Golconda High School. I'm not sure. No, it was after.
Okay.
So, technically, Golconda High School could very well be our first Telugu
sports
industry's first sports drama.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud to be a part of it. Still, it's still a very special film. It still holds value.
Yeah.
And that's also a film that has aged very well and is very relevant for today also.
Correct.
Because I'm very passionate about పిల్లలకి స్కూల్స్ ఉండాలి, స్కూల్లో చదువుతో పాటు ఎక్స్ట్రా కరిక్యులర్ యాక్టివిటీస్, స్పోర్ట్స్ బ్యాలెన్స్ చేసి ఉండాలి అని. ఇట్స్ సంథింగ్ దట్ ఐ స్ట్రాంగ్లీ ఫీల్. అండ్ ఇట్ వాజ్ అ వెరీ స్పెషల్ ఫిల్మ్. ఎందుకంటే అది క్రికెట్ ఆడటం, క్రికెట్ నేర్చుకోవటం, పిల్లలతో ట్రైనింగ్ సెషన్స్ కానివ్వండి, లైక్ ఇట్ వాజ్ లైక్ షూటింగ్ అ ఫిల్మ్, బట్ లైక్ ఇట్ వాజ్ ఆల్సో లైక్ బీయింగ్ ఇన్ స్కూల్. సో ఇట్ వాజ్ అ వెరీ fulfilling experience.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you have said in other interviews that your favorite sport is basketball. Number 1.
It changes actually. It keeps changing. Like
With what
I don't
game?
watch as much basketball as I used to.
Okay.
I watch a lot of obviously like I'm not cricket baga ishtam naku.
All right.
Okay.
Cricket chala ishtam. I personally, after examining everything, like the evolution of cricket, like what it has become today, the T20 format,
Yeah.
I think it's one of my favorite sports.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have pegged you for a test cricket purist.
No.
Yeah.
Can we guess who's your favorite cricketer?
So we do this thing with guests where we
Yeah.
try to guess.
Yeah.
Do you?
And just for the record, I have won every single.
Yeah.
Did I win everything? I don't know.
Yeah, every.
I think
Every person's favorite cricketer I've been able to guess.
Yeah, it'll be very easy to
Really?
guess mine. Actually.
It was difficult for me, but who is
Very
it?
easy saying. So
Means?
as it is, I'll jump in the well first. I think. His favorite cricketer will be right now Kohli.
No, of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah.
All time. Easy.
Yeah.
Now I'm little. When I said no to
Can
no.
I go?
Go.
Mohammad Azharuddin.
No.
Oh, damn, man. All right, can I get a second
Dhoni?
guess? No, Sachin Tendulkar.
Dhoni.
Easy. Okay, what does easy mean then?
Dhoni.
Dhoni.
In our cricketers, definitely Dhoni.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for me, like I like that his calmness, his coolness, like the fact that his personality is probably a lot like me, like in a way, like I kind of connect with that.
Yeah.
And
No, but there's a twist in our cricketers. So there is scope to guess more. International cricket also. His fan is clearly someone else who doesn't belong.
like
to
Indian cricketers, like no, Dhoni is definitely one of my all-time like favorites, like cricketers wise. Yeah.
I can see this. I should have gone for Dhoni too. Now that I
Yeah,
think,
how did you miss that? Like, you know?
I thought okay
mine.
because that time Azharuddin was the biggest, and he was my favorite. So there's a personal bias also. So I thought that, but
No,
yeah,
I went with this.
I think for me, Dhoni, it's just like the way he carries himself. I
Yeah.
think that was what
I went
really really appealed to me. Not like probably his wicket keeping or his batting or something like
Which
that.
is spectacular, but-
it's more the way he carries himself and the more he, you know, what he accomplished, how he led our
yeah,
team and all that. I just like his personality.
yeah, correct.
I went directly with Mr. Cool,
Huh?
Yeah.
Captain Cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, correct.
that way.
Dhoni is kind of like you in many ways, you know. In one way, at least I can point out, is that he's also reserved. Apparently, he doesn't answer his phone, doesn't talk to nobody.
I wish I could do that, man.
Yeah,
I don't have the privilege of that.
yeah.
Like, yeah. I wish I had. Yeah.
And did you see how he announced his retirement?
Yeah.
Just an
During
Instagram
lockdown.
video
Yeah.
of a collage of photos with a song. "Ye main pal do pal ka shayar."
During
And he
lockdown.
just-
Yeah, and
like
there's-
no fanfare.
Yeah, and there's one mystique about him.
Yeah,
Like, you know, he doesn't put himself out there completely.
correct.
So that's what I like about people. I like that about public personalities, to have that element of mystique and
Yeah.
that element of we don't know you fully. Like, you know, that mystery. Yeah.
True. Cool. I'm part 2 of the large question. I'm a huge fan of Mallirava. In fact, if you ask me to list out my all-time favorite love stories, Mallirava comes in that list. How did that movie happen with Gautam Anna, and how was it to look at yourself in a love story after so long, if I'm not wrong? Mallirava had an open ending, which wasn't normalized in Telugu cinema that much, at least in 2017, I assume. What did you feel about that when you heard the script? You've pulled it off so well, really hoping to see you in a light-hearted films too.
Mallirava basically happened. Gautam just came, pitched it to me, and I had no idea, like, you know, who he was. Like, you know, it's like there's so many scripts come to me, like, you know, to my email, like, and I go through them, and there's one screening process. A screening process ayin tarvata, then I read the entire script, and it's very rare that, like, you come across a script or a narration where you like it like 100% right from the get-go.
Correct.
Usually, like, it's always, you know, about 70-80% దాన్ని కొంచెం ఇంప్రూవ్ చేయటం జరుగుతుంది.
Correct.
మళ్ళీరావా వచ్చినప్పుడు నాకు I was like, it hit me completely, like, what is this gem of a script? And it was all ready on a platter. And when Gautam narrated it to me, and I okayed it immediately.
Okay.
I did not know, like, you know, what his backstory was. At that point, Rahul also, the producer of the film, didn't.
Yeah.
That was his debut production.
Correct. Rahul Yadav Nakka. Yeah, we had him on
Yeah,
here.
yeah, that was his debut production as well. So it was like going with this young, unknown team, but the script was so beautiful,
Yeah.
and especially the ending. That's a nice observation. It was an open-ended.
Yeah.
I really, like, you know, found that to be so fresh.
Yeah.
That open-ended thing. Like, that was one of the reasons why I okayed it immediately.
Yeah.
The climax.
Correct.
No, I like the opening of the scene, opening of the movie also.
Yeah.
It starts directly with the conflict.
Yeah.
And like through the mother,
Yeah.
you'll know what is the equation between the hero and the heroine and what that heroine wants. And just like with her, just one, two words, one, two sentences, one, two conversations, everything is set.
Correct. All right. Part 3 of the question. Apart from being the lead character, you have also surprised us in supporting roles like Brigadier Vishnu from Sitaramam. It was a terrific role. Do you see yourself acting in roles like that in the future, which are generally labeled as side roles? I think it was more antagonist
Watch out.
than that.
That role, it wasn't like necessarily an antagonist.
Correct.
also,
Not a
like,
classic villain also.
Yeah.
Situations are good.
Yeah. So it was very situational that make him a villain,
Yeah.
because he gives up the codes because otherwise his wife is going to be killed.
Yeah.
His wife and child are going to be killed.
Yeah.
So his hands are tied.
Yeah.
I'm open to roles like that for sure. Of course, my primary preference would be lead roles. But supporting roles, like, I won't call them side roles. I would call them supporting roles. Like, if I do get something interesting and challenging and something that, like, you know, that I have to like, I have to like it and I have to like the entire script also, just not the character. Because ఇప్పుడు సీతారామం ఒప్పుకున్నప్పుడు ఈవెన్ దో ఇట్ వాజ్ అ సపోర్టింగ్ రోల్, నేను స్క్రిప్ట్ మొత్తం చదివాను. నేను మొత్తం చదివాకే నేను, బికాజ్ ఐ వాంట్ టు నో ద కాంటెక్స్ట్ ఆఫ్ దట్ క్యారెక్టర్ ఇన్ ది ఎంటైర్ ఫిల్మ్.
Correct.
So I'm open to them, definitely. So my idea is like, while doing lead roles, to do interesting supporting roles, is also try and find like an interesting negative role.
Yeah.
So చాలా కోరికలు ఉన్నాయి. యా, బట్ నాకు దాని తర్వాత ఇంకా సర్ప్రైజింగ్లీ సీతారామం విష్ణు క్యారెక్టర్ తర్వాత ఇంకా అలాంటి పాత్రలు వస్తాయని అనుకోలేదు. బట్ ఐ కీప్ గెటింగ్ లీడ్ రోల్స్ ఓన్లీ.
Okay.
Like I didn't get supporting role characters. I did 2 supporting roles, even in Sir.
Yeah.
Sir also.
I did a cameo.
Yeah, IAS officer.
And even though both the films are hits, and I got a good name, like I haven't gotten supporting character opportunities like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
But you're open to.
I'm open to it, definitely.
I also came to know that you are a podcast addict.
Yeah.
That is why we were a little tensed, because you are the first guest who understands the medium.
Yeah.
We were like, oh shit, you know what is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also
preparing from
Can you please put in recommendations for the same on movies, on life, or anything that you follow for that matter? We will address that in the end. So I'll just park this question for now. They end with, I really love and admire your performances, Anna. Watched a lot of your movies and you've become a part of us unknowingly. Hoping to see you in many more films and many more memorable performances. Cool.
That's it. I also relate with that. You've become part of like my initial love stories unknowingly.
Oh.
Because when I was in Vijayawada,
Yeah.
and I was when I used to sulk with my first girlfriend, I would go back to watching 3 movies back to back. So matinee morning show I go taste, then afternoon first show and second show both unde. Andlo pratidi 2 times every back to back year. 1 year it would end with Anand. Next year malli ade time ki I was back with that girl again. Alginappudu it would end with Godavari. So
I hoped my film helped.
yeah, it felt. So then I have to go back and okay, I should be like Ram. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying from that time, you're the most green flag. Ram is the most green flag person, because after going there, okay, I realized shit. Okay, I can't now shout at my girl. Now I have to be like a good boy.
Correct.
Because after watching 2 commercial films, I have to watch.
Yeah. Well, films do influence society, I guess. Yeah. All right. There is the other second passion that you said. The one is cinema, obviously, where you grew up in, right? And sports is your other thing, right? I've seen other podcasts where you're just passionately talking about sport. I don't follow much basketball, but I have watched The Last Dance, and I loved it. It was so riveting. And you were there in Chicago in those years of the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just explain what that was like? Were you a fan of Chicago already, or?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of. In fact, I did not like Chicago Bulls initially.
Okay. Who did you like? Which was
Because
your team?
I initially liked the Detroit Pistons,
Okay.
because I was going to school near Detroit.
Okay.
And like the Detroit Pistons, the basketball team, they won 2 previously. They had a very bitter rivalry with Michael Jordan.
They feature in the documentary actually. Yeah. It's like I
they,
wanted
they
to
were
beat
called
them.
they were called the Bad Boys.
Okay.
Oh.
But then gradually, like, you know, just Jordan, like his style and his charisma and everything just wins you over. I was kind of the enemy before, and it won over me.
Okay.
And then after that, in Chicago ki velli chadukuntunnappudu akkada he was in like that peak.
Correct.
It was peak Jordan years, almost. So it was hard not to get into that.
Yeah.
So he's definitely one of my, not one, he's my favorite sportsman.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Across sports?
Across sports.
Wow. And why is that?
Just his style, his charisma, his again there's always this mystique about him.
Correct.
Like, you know, which I really liked.
Yeah.
And for me, mystique is a very important thing. Like, I like people who are not too out there.
Yeah.
Keep some charm. That's very old. It's a very old-fashioned thing, actually.
Correct.
Keep like.
Yeah.
So like I try to, like, you know, I'm also like that. Like there has to be an amount of mystery, mystique. Like,
Okay.
don't let everybody get to know you completely. Like, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And are there any other sports that you followed or used to follow?
అమెరికన్ ఫుట్బాల్ అక్కడ అమెరికాలో ఉన్నప్పుడు అమెరికన్ ఫుట్బాల్ అండ్ బాస్కెట్బాల్ మెయిన్లీ అండ్ అఫ్ కోర్స్ ఇండియాలో లైక్ యూనో ప్రతి క్రికెట్ మ్యాచ్ చూడను బట్ లైక్ యూనో ద ఇంపార్టెంట్ వన్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ లైక్ యూనో I traveled, I went across the world and saw India like play in different countries. Australia, England lo World Cup ki ellanu, Australia lo World Cup ki ellanu. Followed our team. So with my friends, we had one travel group for like
Okay.
all these sporting activities.
Okay. Which like India matches?
Russia ki ellanu, like you know, mana World Cup చూడటానికి.
Okay.
So I used to travel for sport. I don't travel anymore.
Okay.
I'm just done with traveling.
Okay.
But yeah, I like sports generally.
All right.
బట్ ఇప్పుడు కొంచెం తగ్గింది ఇప్పుడు లైక్ మై ఇంట్రెస్ట్ మోర్ ఇస్ లైక్ మూవీ వాచింగ్ అండ్
Okay.
లైక్ సిరీస్ వాచింగ్ అండ్
Yeah. And that's what I gathered from the Ram Venkat Shikhar. It's a great interview, by the way. You should check it out. Where you delved, like, that you're a film nerd in the real sense, right? Like, you consume a lot.
Yeah.
You said it goes up to 4 to 5 hours a day sometimes where you're just watching stuff.
Yeah.
So, if I were to, like, combine these two passions of your life, which is sports and cinema, can you recommend your favorite sports movies?
My favorite sports drama of all time is a very unconventional sports drama. It's called Moneyball.
Moneyball. Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Like that's my sports dramas are definitely one of my favorite genres. ఎన్నో ఉన్నాయి like sports dramas, but నాకు అన్నిట్లో నాకు favorite Moneyball.
Okay.
And very unconventional sports film.
Okay.
And there are many other recommendations, but this is the one that I'd give.
Correct.
Telugulo like probably Golconda High School.
Well played, sir. Well played. All right. Yeah. And the other thing I found out is that you have almost an encyclopedic knowledge of like films and directors and stuff like that when you were talking with Ram.
Yeah.
Right. So we generally ask our guests a question that if aliens came, colonized Earth, and we had to go to Mars, but aliens believed in human rights, so they allow us to take 5 movies to outer space. Right. And I'm not asking for the 5 greatest movies of all time, but 5 of your movies
Right now.
that you would take.
5 of my films are.
No, as in your 5 favorite. Your 5 movies that you would take in your bag. DVDs.
It need not be your favorite films, but right now, what are the 5 films that like strike your mind?
They keep
Aliens are
changing.
coming now.
They keep changing. Like you know, like I'm just going through like. Definitely Godfather. Like
Which part?
one. Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, the last one.
And స్పోర్ట్స్ డ్రామాస్లో డ్యూన్ మనీబాల్ వేసుకోండి ఈ డిఫరెంట్ జానర్లో ఒకటి చెప్దాం.
Okay.
స్పోర్ట్స్ డ్రామాలో మామూలు డ్రామాలో అయితే గాడ్ ఫాదరు, ఇంకా బిగ్ స్పెక్టికల్ ఫిల్మ్ అంటే లైక్ బిగ్ స్క్రీన్ స్పెక్టికల్ ఫిల్మ్ అంటే టాప్ గన్ మ్యావరిక్. ఇంకా ఏమున్నాయి, ఇంకా లవ్ స్టోరీలో చెప్పండి. లవ్ స్టోరీలో వాట్ ఈస్ మై ఫేవరెట్? లెట్స్ సీ. ఇవన్నీ ఇంగ్లీషే చెప్తున్నాను, తెలుగులో చెప్పాలి. గీతాంజలి చెప్తాను. గీతాంజలి లైక్ యునో ఫర్ లవ్ స్టోరీ డెఫినెట్లీ.
Comedy.
కామెడీ వావ్, లైక్ సో మెనీ లైక్ షో చెప్పొచ్చా?
Yeah, please.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Great choice. Yeah.
I'd take that.
Yeah. Actually, that's an unconventional choice.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know the magic of Curb.
Yeah.
Like, apparently it's most of it is short improv.
Yeah. He's a genius, man. I like it better than even Seinfeld.
Yeah, of course. Like, so it's the same guy who wrote Seinfeld.
Okay.
But
Larry David. Yeah.
It's a
he went on
Geostar.
to do his own show. Larry David. Yeah. So, do you watch stand-up? Do you follow any comics?
No. ఎక్కువ స్టాండప్ చూడను.
Okay.
స్టాండప్ లైక్ నాకు ఎందుకో అగైన్ స్టాండప్ అగైన్ ఇస్ అ లైవ్ గిగ్.
Correct.
నేను ఎక్కువ క్రౌడెడ్ లైవ్ గిగ్స్కి పెద్ద ఐఎమ్ నాట్ మచ్ ఇన్ టు లైవ్ పర్ఫార్మెన్సెస్, లైవ్ గిగ్స్ అండ్ థింగ్స్ లైక్ దట్.
Okay.
I like more comedy films, or I like in the film form, or like if music vintam koda I like to listen to it in my stereo. I don't like to listen to it live.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was surprised by in your conversation with Ram was that you said that you like Danny McBride movies, which I didn't expect that you would like.
Yeah, and that's see, I've been watching a lot of him lately, and I just like his timing.
Yeah.
I just find his timing like just
Yeah.
weird and Whack.
It's probably like if there is Mahendra Singh Dhoni's personality here, Danny McBride is on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like his roles. Like
His role, yeah. And like, he's pretty much the same guy in every movie. He's the guy.
He's the same guy.
Yeah.
But I guess my favorite Hollywood comedian is probably Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell is great, yeah.
He's my favorite comedian.
Correct.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are other comedy movies that you like? Like, generally, what are your favorite comedies?
I like Sacha Baron Cohen's films.
I love the guy. I love the guy, yeah.
Yeah, I like most of his stuff actually.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. Have you seen his TV shows?
TV shows చూడలేదు.
Like, all his movies were actually TV shows.
Okay.
Like, not Borat, but Ali G అని ఒక సినిమా తీశాడు కదా, where he's a white guy pretending to be a Jamaican.
Wow.
A rapper.
He'll get into trouble now. Like
Yeah, now you can't do anything that he did.
Yeah, because he's so like.
He's now famous
unwoke.
now.
Huh?
He's now known to everybody.
He's
Aliji is the guy who goes to space, NASA, and asks this guy.
Yeah. So he used to do the show where the whole premise of the show is like he's pretending to be dumb. But he's actually a very educated, he's a
Educated,
double
yeah,
masters
yeah,
from like Oxford, Harvard type Ivy League. But anyway, so he goes and asks these people like these dumb, stupid questions, right? So like he goes to, who's the guy who went to the moon?
Neil Armstrong.
No, not Neil Armstrong, the other guy. Buzz Aldrin. He goes to Buzz Aldrin and he says, what do you talk about? What do you have to say about the conspiracy theories that there is no moon? So he says, no, there is a moon. Then he says, how do you feel that you guys walked on the moon, but Michael Jackson got all the credit? Dumbest questions you can ask.
I have to see this.
Yeah, it's great. I love Sacha Baron Cohen. Yeah. I don't think you can make something like that here, no? Because people are. It's kind of funny, the country Kazakhstan filed a case against him.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
He must have heard a lot of sentiments actually. Yeah.
Have you seen him do serious work though? Like,
I did.
dude, he's stunning.
He's damn good.
Man.
He's damn good.
Stunning.
Yeah.
What
Ah,
was
this
serious for?
Chicago 7, kada?
The trial of the Chicago. It's an Aaron
Chicago
Sorkin
7.
movie.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
It's based on a true story.
Yeah.
You never expect like him to, be
Yeah.
fit in such a. Certain comedians managed to have done that. Like
Yeah.
Robin Williams did that.
Yeah.
I mean, he played
even
a
Jordan-
goofball, like but then he
Jordan
played
Peele also.
Jordan Peele also. Well, he became like a. I mean, he's
Director.
so much into direct. I mean, he's
Yeah.
one of the top directors now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw this movie, this series called The Spy. That is also by this guy, where he's like
Sacha
an
Baron
agent.
Cohen.
Yeah.
Ah, I like that film.
Yeah. It's a great.
With Mark Strong, right? Yeah.
Is it with?
Mark Strong? Yeah. The British actor with the bald guy. Yeah.
First one.
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't seen. Oh, Spy is the series.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was talking
Which one
about.
are you talking
I was talking about a comedy film that Sacha Baron Cohen and Mark Strong they played together. That's a terrific film again.
Can you just search? No. Sacha Baron Cohen and Mark Strong movie.
Mark Strong kada than peru the British bald guy is very popular. Grimsby.
Oh, is it that the Grimm brothers? It's an offshoot of that.
It's actually a spy thriller.
Oh, okay.
They actually play spies.
Correct. Cool. And a lot of people ask me to get movie recommendations out of you because of your extensive knowledge of.
Chala movies unnai.
Yeah. Cool. If do you think there is a movie that you would recommend to people that you think hasn't been watched enough and you would kind of vouch
Or
for
a
it?
movie, like last 5 movies that have really you got obsessed over.
No, let's not go with the number. I think that's too much pressure.
Not
5
five,
movies,
no,
2 movies.
Not 5.
Like any movie.
Any movie that has like recently, the latest movie that has like caught your head is on top of your head.
On top of my head, wow. I like that Hindi film Kho Gaye Hum Kahan. It came on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's a terrific film.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Correct.
I don't know, whether it's, and I recommend people. I think it was quite popular. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it was reviewed decently. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that film.
Correct.
తెలుగు సినిమాల్లో హిందీ సినిమాలో ఒకటి చెప్పాను ఇంగ్లీష్ సినిమాలో చాలా ఉన్నాయి ఐఎమ్ అనేబుల్ టు ఆఫ్ ద టాప్ మై ఐ హ్యావ్ టు లుక్ ఎట్ మై ఐఎమ్డిబి
Okay.
థింగ్ బికాజ్ ఐ హ్యావ్ దిస్ హ్యాబిట్ ఆఫ్ నేను ఎన్ని చూస్తానంటే ఐ హ్యావ్ టు మేక్ నోట్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్ బికాస్ సమ్టైమ్స్ I forget that I've seen that particular film. Already చూసేసి ఉంటాను. Like the times when I again, ఇదేంటి ఇది చూసినట్టుంది. So like అన్నీ నేను రాసుకుంటాను నేను
Okay.
చూసినట్టు.
Okay.
So I don't forget.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much for giving your time. And before I go, I want to ask one personal question because you're such a movie nerd. Is there something about your grandfather's movies that, as a movie nerd, that you notice that we don't know? Is there an insight you can give us?
There are so many things.
Can you tell us a few, please?
Like none of us, most of us might not be knowing.
Little known facts about my grandfather. Actually, there's so many things that I'm learning about him, as, even after his death.
Okay.
But one particular thing, okay, I just got to know about this recently. Annapurna Studios, my tatagaru wanted a road because it was in Jubilee Hills, and but Jubilee Hills was just nothing but rocks back then. Like, there was no road also to come from the airport to the studio. So my tata did this very smart thing by inviting the president of India,
Okay.
like, to come for the opening of the film. I think it was Dr. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad.
Okay.
He was then president of India, to open the studio because he realized that if he had called the president, they would lay the road. What a smart man. So అందుకే he used his connections and called the president of India to inaugurate the studio. So I did not know that this was, and ఆయన పిలిచారు కాబట్టి ఆ రోడ్ వేశారు
Correct.
బంజారా హిల్స్ నుంచి.
So even the inside road work.
Because the president was coming. అప్పుడు రోడ్లు కూడా లేవంట, అన్ని మట్టి రోడ్లే.
Oh shit. So Banjara Hills road number 1 also was laid.
అదంతా ప్రాపర్గా చేసింది అన్నపూర్ణ స్టూడియోస్ మూలంగా. అండ్ ఆ రోడ్ వేయటానికే తాతగారు ప్రెసిడెంట్ గారిని పిలిచారు. Of course it was, that's a little known fact, but it's a smart fact.
Yeah. All right. And we have to promote Anaganaga cases. We keep digressing from our main objective.
Anaganaga
1999
లో సుమంత్ గారు
ట్రైలర్ చూసారా మీరు?
Yeah. Okay. So about the movie, you play a teacher who, whatever we discussed this thing. The movie's climax I thought was really like.
You saw the film?
Yeah, I went to the premiere.
Oh, you came, okay.
Yeah, I went to the premiere. And then you went to speak, but I couldn't hear much because the mic was kind of connected to the cameras. Then I kind of left.
Right.
But it is one of those movies that has a hard-hitting climax. Yeah, it is one of those. Am I revealing too much? Is that?
No, it's a very emotional film. Let's call it that.
It's an emotional film. Yeah.
And it's a very unexpectedly emotional film. And cinema కొన్ని ఆ ప్లాట్ బీట్స్ వైపు వెళ్తుందని ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేయం జనరల్గా. సో బ్రేస్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్స్, లైక్ be prepared to shed a tear.
Yeah.
And
Carry tissues. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's one of those hard-hitting emotional films.
Correct.
Yeah. And I'm happy. ఇప్పుడు ఆల్రెడీ ఒక మంచి బజ్ వచ్చేసింది, ఇనిషియల్ రివ్యూస్ చెప్పినట్టు. అండ్ ఐ కెన్ కాన్ఫిడెంట్లీ సే ఐ కెన్ జస్ట్ పుట్ ఇట్ లైక్ నా లివింగ్ రూమ్లో ఒక లైక్ ఐ హ్యావ్ అ like it's my living room / home office where I keep my special films.
Okay.
They're all framed up.
Okay.
Like I think this one will go up.
It'll definitely be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And after all these years of being in the game, does the idea of the coming Friday still give you some anxiety or jitters or tension?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely a little bit.
Okay.
But always a little bit only.
Okay.
Like నేను ఎప్పుడు all my emotional things are always like very little. Like I feel little nervous, I feel little angry, I feel little happy, I feel little, like it's always kind of measured. So there is a feeling of nervousness, but a little nervousness.
But was it always like this? Even when your first movie came out, were you always like, okay, I got to keep my emotions under control?
I was always an introverted guy.
Okay.
But I think over the years I've just become like more sort of measured and like little more zen and little more
Okay.
like control what you can control.
Okay.
Don't bother about the rest.
All right.
You know, I'm that kind of person.
Okay. Cool. And we'll ask the question that a lot of people wanted me to ask you, which is recommendations for podcasts, because you are one of the earliest adapters of
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Do you have any podcast recommendations that people would like?
I want to know what are the good like Telugu film podcasts, like apart like ఇప్పుడు yours I got to know like recently, but like
Are there any other?
ఐఎమ్ వెరీ క్యూరియస్ ఎందుకంటే నా పాడ్కాస్ట్లన్నీ దే ఆర్ మోస్ట్లీ గియర్డ్ టువర్డ్స్ లైక్ హాలీవుడ్ ఫిల్మ్స్, ఇంగ్లీష్ సినిమాలు.
Yeah.
మన సినిమాలకి మన ఇండియన్ సినిమాలకి ఐఎమ్ యాక్చువల్లీ లుకింగ్ ఫర్ అ గుడ్ పాడ్కాస్ట్. లైక్ యునో రివ్యూస్ కానివ్వండి, ఆర్ లైక్ డీప్ డైవ్స్ కానివ్వండి సినిమాల్లో, ఆర్ ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ కానివ్వండి, లైక్ యునో ఐమ్ జస్ట్ లుకింగ్ ఫర్ అ బంచ్.
Okay.
డెఫినెట్లీ ఫాలో యూ గైస్ ఫర్ షూర్. బట్ ఇది ఇంగ్లీష్లో నా వన్ ఆఫ్ మై ఫేవరెట్ పాడ్కాస్ట్ ఇప్పుడు ఐ థింక్ యూ నో అబౌట్ ఇట్. ఇట్స్ కాల్డ్ ద రీవాచబుల్స్,
Yeah, which you recommended.
విచ్ ఐ రికమెండెడ్. అండ్ అలాగా ఇంకా చాలా ఉన్నాయి.
Okay.
And but most of my specials ones are either around pop culture or movies or American sports.
Okay.
ఓకే.
ఇప్పుడు ఇండియన్ పాడ్కాస్ట్లో ఐఎమ్ వెరీ క్యూరియస్. నాకు ఐఎమ్ యాక్చువల్లీ వాంటింగ్ టు ఓపెన్ అప్ అండ్ లైక్
Yeah. Explore.
because it's in a baby. Is it still in a baby
Yeah,
phase?
just off late, just
Yeah,
started.
yeah.
Yeah.
అంటే యుఎస్లో ఇక్కడ వెస్ట్లో అంతా ఇప్పుడు ఎప్పటి నుంచో ఉన్నాయి. లైక్ ఎప్పటి నుంచో అంటే ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఒక 2010-2011 నుంచి స్టార్ట్ అయినాయి. అప్పటి నుంచి నేను ఫాలో అవుతా ఉన్నాను పాడ్కాస్ట్లు. బట్ మై రికమెండేషన్ ఇస్ ప్రాబ్లీ ద రీవాచబుల్స్ ఫర్ షూర్.
Okay.
ఇఫ్ యూర్ అ హాలీవుడ్ ఫిల్మ్ బఫ్.
Okay.
యా.
రీవాచబుల్స్. ఓకే.
Cool. Which brings us to our final question, which is we ask our guests to talk to us about how they handle 4 aspects of their life,
యా.
which is physical health, mental health, time management, and money management, financial management. The first one is physical health, where we were curious generally, is that you have never been unfit in the last 25.
సేమ్ సెన్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ప్రేమ కదా.
Yeah.
అప్పుడు ఓపెన్
Because actors have a graph. Sometimes they'll just put on a little bit and, you know, but
Yeah.
never.
No, I've had a few moments where I put on like a little bit of weight.
But on screen?
On screen, like, you know, a couple of photographs and stuff, like I felt like, you know, koncham, I looked a little chubby or something like that.
బట్ మోర్ ఆర్ లెస్ అట్లీస్ట్ 90% మీరు ఎట్లా ఉన్నారో అట్లనే ఉన్నారు.
Okay, the trick to that ఏంటంటే నేను I sleep well.
Okay.
Fortunately, I don't have any sleeping issues. That's the key. Like, you know, learn to sleep well.
Okay.
Because that's your key to recovery for everything. Your skin ganivandi, your health ganivandi. And of course, you need to be blessed with good genes also.
Yeah.
Like, thankfully, like in certain areas, like, you know, but in certain areas, like, again, like, you know, I have like some knee problems and stuff like that. So I can't work out as much as I would like to. I'd like to play pickleball and badminton and all that, but I have to go like easy on that.
Correct.
But I generally 80% of the time I'm very disciplined.
Okay.
Exercise ganivandi, food habits ganivandi,
Okay.
sleep habits ganivandi.
Are there any hacks to get better sleep? Because I struggle with sleep.
Sleep is more the hacks. I don't know. I never had to lean on anything for sleep. I think it's more stress management that, like, you know, probably gets you to sleep best. Sukha nidra అది ఉంటే, అది మా తాతగారి దగ్గర నుంచి నేర్చుకున్నాను. ఆ సగం ప్రాబ్లంలు ఉండవు అసలు, బాగా నిద్రపోగలిగితే. అదొక అదృష్టం కూడా.
Correct.
యా.
All right. And mental health, how do you deal with your mental health?
Mental health, it's a fluid, it's very fluid.
Okay.
Like you just have to know how to mental health. Okay, one way, like I kind of like I don't really get into like my mentions, social media mentions.
Okay. You don't Google yourself?
I don't Google myself.
Okay.
If anything important about me comes out, like, you know, I'll get to know about it through somebody else.
Correct.
బట్ నేను యాక్టివ్గా గూగుల్ మై సెల్ఫ్ ఇప్పుడు ఇంటర్నెట్లో నా గురించి ఏం రాస్తున్నారు, మెన్షన్స్ ఏం రాస్తున్నారు, జనరల్గా తెలుసుకుంటాను. కానీ స్పెసిఫిక్గా నేను ఐ డోంట్ గో ఇన్ టు ఇట్.
Okay.
దట్స్ ఎ డెఫినెట్ నో. లైక్ రీడింగ్ యువర్ మెన్షన్స్ ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ అ సెలబ్రిటీ.
Okay.
యా.
I'm just curious. Suppose in case you have a bad day,
Yeah.
anytime if you have a bad day, then that time what is your go to do? అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తారు?
God, I never really.
Never had a bad day.
No, of course you'd have bad days, but you just kind of know that it's going to pass, and like that you can control only what you can control. Don't try to manage too many things and ante like luck. I'm kind of sorted.
You're Zen mode.
Yeah, kind of. But if you're really sorted, you'll never say that you're sorted. See, it's always a process. Like I said, it's always fluid. Sometimes like కొన్ని కొత్త ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వచ్చినప్పుడు కొన్ని you have to cope with them in a different way. ఎందుకో I'm kind of generally happy. I'm generally content. I'm generally generally sorted.
Yeah. Have you tried using ChatGPT?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. What did you think of it? Because I'll tell you why I'm saying this. After I started using ChatGPT extensively, I stopped going to my counselor.
Oh, so
Because
it became
ChatGPT,
a counselor,
not
more or less.
70% of the issues it will solve. It'll be like, yo, this is this, do that, breathing exercise, whatever. So I kind of worked for me. What do you use ChatGPT for?
It's very interesting. I got a script,
Okay.
like a synopsis,
Okay.
and I wanted to get some additional twists and turns for it.
Wow, and
Some
you gave it to ChatGPT?
additional plot beats.
Okay.
So I tried it out for the first time
Okay.
for a purely I just give me some additional possibilities of some plot beats, but it's something that final decision maname teeskoవాలి.
Correct.
But you just have to use it like a assistant, or
Did it give you good results?
Were you satisfied?
yeah, some of them were a little wild and out there, but some of them were doable.
Okay.
So it's definitely like a tool you can use.
Okay.
అండ్ ఇప్పుడు మనం ఇంటర్నెట్లో కూడా ఫోన్లో కూడా చాలా వరకు మనం యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం, అందరూ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారు, ఇట్స్ యాక్సెసిబుల్ కాబట్టి
Yeah.
like a simple question like what is better for your knees,
Yeah.
if you have a certain condition like rowing or cycling,
Okay.
right now I have a few knee problems,
Okay.
so of course I would consult my doctor first, but అప్పుడప్పుడు కొన్ని immediate things కావాలంటే health related things I would recommend against it,
Correct.
but otherwise it's definitely a tool to make your life easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Which brings me to the third topic, which is time management. Are you good with that? Managing your time,
Yeah.
time discipline?
Yeah. I'm actually very particular about
Okay.
tardiness, time ki shooting spot lo undali.
Okay.
But నేను ఒక ఏమంటారు I can work because I don't have sort of my life for a person my age, it's because I'm not married or I don't have children so I just like to work as
Much as you can.
as much as I can when I need to. అంటే నాకు ఎస్పెషలీ ఇప్పుడు అనగనగా షూటింగ్ అప్పుడు I didn't even have any reason to go home also. Just to sleep, I used to just go home. So we used to work
Yeah.
9 to 9 every day.
Correct.
Morning 7 to 9 every day for about 30 plus days we worked.
Okay.
నాకు పని చేయడం బాగా ఇష్టం, నాకు షూటింగ్ స్పాట్ బాగా ఇష్టం. I like being there no matter what. So my time management is pretty good. I allot ఇప్పుడు షూటింగ్ కూడా ఉన్నా కూడా I request నాకు వారానికి అట్లీస్ట్ ఒక 3 days అయినా, నాకు 4 days అయినా నాకు జిమ్ కోసం టైం కావాలి, నాకు
Okay.
అది కేటాయించాలి. లేకపోతే మిగతా అంతా ఐఎమ్ వెరీ ఫ్లెక్సిబుల్, బట్ ఐ మేనేజ్ మై టైం వెల్ యాక్చువల్లీ.
All right.
And the final financial management.
నా తెలియదండి ఫైనాన్షియల్ మేనేజ్మెంట్. నేనంతా నేను మా సిస్టర్ సుప్రియాకి ఇచ్చేస్తాను నా ఫైనాన్షియల్ మేనేజ్మెంట్.
Okay.
నాకు అస్సలు తెలియదు. నాకు ఐ విష్ ఐ న్యూ మోర్
Okay.
అబౌట్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అండ్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ దట్.
Correct.
I just make my money and give it to my sister.
Okay.
Basically, that's that.
All right. That brings us to the end. Cases, do you have any more questions?
No, I don't have any more. That's
Cool. Anaganaga is releasing on ETV Win
Yes.
on
15th.
Okay.
It's
Oh, by the time this episode comes, it's streaming now.
It's streaming now.
On ETV Win by the time the episode comes out. But I just have a last request. In your like silky voice, silky, whatever, in your nice voice,
స్పష్టత ఉన్న
and
voice.
pure, pristine Telugu. I know you say that you sometimes muddle it up.
yeah.
But I want to hear like a pristine, well-spoken,
Abu.
you know, like 2-3 lines in like pure Telugu, asking the people to watch it. I'm just curious.
ప్రెషర్ లాట్.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
మా సినిమా అనగనగా మీ ముందు ఈటీవీ విన్ ద్వారా త్వరలో లెట్ మీ డూ దట్ అగైన్.
Yeah.
మా సినిమా అనగనగా మా మనసుతో చేసిన సినిమా, మీ మనసుకి అనుకుంటున్న సినిమా. ఖచ్చితంగా చూడండి. రేపటి నుంచి అంటే May 15th నుంచి ఈటీవీ విన్లో స్ట్రీమ్ అవబోతుంది. తప్పకుండా మిమ్మల్ని ఆకట్టుకుంటుంది. ముందే చెప్తున్నాను, ఆల్రెడీ అడ్వాన్స్గా మీ క్షమాపణను కోరుకుంటున్నాను. ఎందుకంటే మిమ్మల్ని ఏడిపించినందుకు క్షమించండి. కాస్తో కూస్తో మీరు ఏడుస్తారు, దానికి మా క్షమాపణ.
Well spoken. All right. Thank you so much for giving us your time and your insights. And, as
గుడ్
I
లక్ విత్ అనగనగా as
Anaganaga.
well.
And in conclusion, I just have to say this, that in the scripts that you choose and your demeanor and the way you talk and just your articulation and just your body of work, you do carry forward the legacy of, you know, Mr. Hriday Nageswara Rao.
Thank you.
And thank you for your movies.
And
Thank
also
you
one
for-
last note for the script writers also. Please also now he likes doing more darker shades.
Yeah, one edgy anti-hero is what I'm looking for.
Correct.
Yeah, so please
Basically,
keep that note.
now what I would recommend is create a character for Godavari and just spin everything around. Like,
అయ్యో మళ్ళీ ఆ గోదావరిని చెడగొట్టం ఎందుకండి?
Sorry, I apologize.
ఒక వేరే రూట్ లో వెళ్ళిపోయి వేరే చెడగొడతాం.
Yeah, I apologize. You can cut that out. All right. But thank you so much. Thank you for your movies. Thank you for all the joy it brings to all of us. I know a lot of people who watch your movies when they are down, when they are having a bad day. And you are one of them. Yeah, it didn't help your relationship, clearly. But thank you so much for everything and all the best.
My pleasure.
Good luck. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.